Domino's pepperoni stuffed cheesy bread is loaded with pepperoni. It's kind of like your favorite pizza's best friend.
Whatever you do it for less at Harbor Freight.
For 30 minutes while he recovers from that news.
Yeah. It's so funny. I don't hear much about actual football since I came to America, because in America they call this other weird thing football, with these
No, you hear about actual football in America.
with these weirdos just run into each other for no reason.
Don't start this debate. You'll lose.
Amen. Amen.
So anyway, here I pulled up a tweet from you directly, Nuria, where you reacted to this, and you said England's finally waking up to Islam and its cancerous impact on this beautiful island. Love the wording. Let's see. And is this the one that is taken from the Met Police, or no? It's not. Okay, I'm going to show that one too. The police posted about it as well, and showed how great the turnout actually was.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's so amazing, the collection of flags that you see during
Very
this
amazing
rally.
We're used to seeing other flags.
Yeah, you can see
Exactly.
you can see Iranian monarchy flags. You can see all the different flags from the UK, England, Wales.
Yeah, we had Scottish, English, Welsh.
British, yeah, you have them all there, even Ulster and all the others, and there were also Israel flags present, which gave me a little bit of. It's good to see, because for months now we have seen these massive rallies with Islamist flags and so-called Palestine flags, and this is here the rally where an Israel flag is also held up together and waved together with all of these other good flags. And we're also, Tommy Robinson, by the way, explicitly during his rally, in his speech, and also in the film that he showed, he explicitly stood up for Jewish people and for Israel. So it was just very nice to see.
Hey, where's the U.S. flags at, man? Represent. What the heck? Were U.S. people not allowed?
You should have thought about that before you poured all the tea and
find out when the next one is. I'm going to
be independent.
I'm going to carry a U.S. flag there.
Should have thought about that before you went independent.
But on that note, just to say as well, like the level of support that I feel like Tommy has now, there were messages that he was putting out even on X from like the gypsy community or the traveler community. And they were actually asking him like, hey, do we count in this? Is it okay if we come down? And he's like, absolutely. Like, we're here for a common cause. So like, as you were saying, like people from the Isle of Man, the Isle of Skye, Ulster, all these other like, people have come from all parts of this country. It's crazy.
Yeah. There are also so many other flags that are not that much publicly or globally known, that are, however, just part of the political movements, of the right-wing movement, of I don't know, British movements, patriotic movements, whatever you want to call it. But there's so much going on here. This was very funny, because here's Five Pillars UK, which reacted to this by posting this and saying, Allah, who the F is Allah? Islamophobia, fear-mongering, and heavy drinking all unfolded by far-right march in London, led by Tommy Robinson and backed by Lawrence Fox. So,
hey, this is that Allah. We were at this conference in Israel, in Tel Aviv, and one of the questions that came up was, hey, how come the people on the Palestinian side are always good at coming up with slogans and chants, and we're not? Why is that? and they're all sitting there trying to figure out why they can't come up with good slogan. But I have to say, that this Allah Allah one is pretty decent.
It is actually a play on a song that goes Alice, Alice, who the F is Alice?
Oh, that's funnier then.
Yeah, so I don't know if that song is that much known. It's a very, very, very old one, but so that's how the song actually goes. It goes about a person named Alice, and then it goes Alice, Alice, who the F is Alice? So they just modified it into Allah, Allah, who the F is Allah.
Tarn soccer hooligans.
Very good.
This is one thing they're definitely good at, is chants is their forte, and quick on the spot as well. Changes very quickly.
Let's see.
Camera people, stop walking backwards. The camera's walking backwards. Stop walking backwards. Back
So this is one of those moments. Of course, the Five Pillars UK tried so hard to find something bad, but they couldn't really point at anything proper. So they
that was the best, and I guarantee he went through every second of footage from every angle trying to find. That's what he came up with, and he's saying this is the real problem, not all these guys running through the streets talking about exterminating Jews.
Yeah, we have Robert Carter here saying this is what I hate March looks like.
This rally is literally genocide.
This is literally ethnic cleansing.
It's like Narinder Kaur, I think she said, "I'm as a POC, I'm leaving the city for the day with my family." I was like, good riddance then.
Yeah, leave. Don't come back. I see lots of reactions to that specific report by Five Pillars UK from Muslims and Muslim propagandists, Islamic apologists, and others. Roshan, who is also part of the Five Pillars UK, said proper hate march in it, and so on.
All that matters is the label to these guys.
Yes.
Just all that matters is the label.
And then there was also the counter protesters, like the stupid socialists, together
what
with
a joke.
with the Islamists. And
These guys looking like a bunch of losers right now.
No.
it's just so ridiculous. It's so stupid.
And David, they've been planning this for so long to counter what Tommy was planning, and this is what they came up with. This is the best they could do today.
I mean, this is actually very, very significant. I mean, just looking at like the protests that you had, the pro-Palestine protests that you had, and how many people they can mobilize. You say, wow, this is a ton of people here. And then you see Tommy's rally and say, whoa, there's a lot of people on that side too. But then you're looking at these guys and you're like, what is it, like 50 people?
People kept making comments like
all 20 of you.
All 20 of you.
You and what army? All 20 of you.
All 12 of you. And the thing is, like, it's so bad. I mean, just listen to the slogan here.
Weak, not good. I will acknowledge a good slogan, even if I completely disagree with it. That just sucks. That's garbage. Come up with a new one. Try harder, guys. Try harder.
Disgrace.
Ditto, David. Credit where credit's due, and that is just cringe AF.
Yeah, you said I have secondhand embarrassment just listening to this. Cringe is an understatement. And of course, I thought about this immediately.
What's that? What's that, brother?
Yeah. What's funny is Tommy's reaction to this Five Pillars UK report on him is just to take this image here, this screenshot, and just post it and say our message to the world today. And you can even see, like, on his post, you can see 5 pillars here. He doesn't care. He just took the image here and brags about it. It's hilarious. It's so good.
Hey, I thought of a better one those guys could use. We hate Tommy because we're commies. Something like that.
That's so much better. See, I would rate that. You could respect that a little bit more.
That's actually good. So this is London, Londonistan. Lots of people have said this is very anti-Muslim, very Islamophobic. Who agrees with that here?
So I get the exact same thing said to me because I have stayed away from using that word for a very long time. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to say it how it is. And I actually used that word. And as expected, all of the, especially like the British Pakistani Muslims came at me saying, do you not think that like this is just taking your activism too far? Like saying words like this and you're kind of branding us with the same paintbrush and, you know, it's got really bad pejoratives, all of that kind of stuff. But, what was I going to say? Yeah, when Tommy himself says that, I'm like, this, if you look at where he comes from, Luton, and if you listen to his Oxford Union speech and you actually see him discussing like when he was young and there was one mosque in the vicinity and now how many mosques have opened up. And I'm telling you, like, as a Londoner, when I've lived outside of the country and then I came back, I have seen like spaces in London being encroached on in the same way. So it's not just like words out of thin air when we say this is a no-go zone, or like Tommy has effectively had to leave Luton and move further north. And like this is what we have to keep doing. Like there is an exodus from a city because they're turning into such Muslim enclaves. So London has such beautiful parts to it. And again, that's why I keep stressing my activism towards London, because even that, like the nicer parts, they're getting few and far between. Yeah.
Is this real? Is this real? This is Luton, religious demographics, 2001, Christian 60%, Muslim 14.6%. 2011, Christian 47%, Muslim 24.6%. 2021, Christian 37%, Muslim 32%. Are you freaking kidding me?
Like, do you see why Tommy had to leave now? Like, even I was like, Tommy, I don't want to come near Luton to meet you. Like, and he's like, no, don't worry, this area is okay. Like, we're having to have these conversations.
Wow, man, that's really, really messed up.
Yeah, it was taken over. But then also, AP, just to give you like an indication of what's happening in our institution. So I went to a very, very liberal left-leaning university here in London. But my professor, who was an expert in like, you know, this kind of like Islamic law mixing in with British values, and what he was using the word Lundistan in his chapters of the books that we were studying back in the day. He was using terms like creeping Sharia when I was still a Muslim and I was learning from him. So these words have already been in the psyche. So in my opinion, I'm just not, I think it reflects a stark reality. And I used to be like wary of using words and, you know, does that reflect a worse time in our society? Does that reflect them vilifying, let's say, at least British Pakistanis, because Londonistan is a complete play on, you know, like Pakistan or any of the stans that, let's say, you could just look down on as third world countries, backward, whatever. So I do understand that, but I think this is exactly what's happening in the UK. And it's like, it's time we start using words that reflect the reality of the situation that we're in.
I get it. Looking at London here, of course, not as bad, but you can already see it here. 2001, Christian 58%, Muslim 8%. 2011, Christian 48%, Muslim 12%. 2021, Christian 40%, Muslim 15%, which is just, you know, worrisome. Then you look at places like Birmingham. I don't know. Things really look really. I mean, I get it. I understand why this is a big concern, and this is why I have been saying, like many others, that people have been very stupid about how to handle this whole immigration wave and you know, tolerating Islam and allowing it to basically establish itself as the local force. It's very stupid. It should have never ever come this far. Unfortunately, here we are. This is from the police, Mid Police UK. That's again that same place, same angle.
Crazy far right hooligan shit you're watching there, right? Do you see that? It's out of control. It's absolutely out of control.
Yeah. The police was watching and hasn't reported any incidents, so that's good. That's good.
There's a saying. Look at those optics. There's a saying. First they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you, then you win. Looking at the the crowd today, I certainly feel like I'm winning people, okay?
I say whatever you want about him. Tommy has the charisma of a leader. Yeah.
It will become a tsunami.
Yeah.
Hey, tsunami rhymes with Tommy. Someone should make a chant out of that.
He could totally create a cult and then move the whole cult over to a compound in somewhere in South America and then have everybody drink Kool-Aid or something. Would totally work. Yeah. He has the potential. Dilly Dally Hussein said something like British patriots cleansing the streets of London today because they
ethnically cleansing this.
Did he use the word cleansing? Oh my goodness.
This guy's nuts. What a joke.
Seriously.
And you have to wonder who takes that guy seriously anymore. 5 pillars, all this stuff.
Yeah. All right. Now I also want to look at some media reactions here. Actually, you know what? I don't want to look at the media reactions. Media reactions were like some media sites reported on it. They tried to find flaws, they couldn't. So eventually they just they called it like far right hate rally, hateful slogans, counter protesters turned up, and so on. But that's the best they could do. There was just nothing to criticize, nothing to point at.
Either they weren't covering it at all, they were literally diverting into anything but what's happening, literally, like with the 30,000 people potentially thereabouts descending into central London. They were either not touching it or trying to come out with the most sensational headline and pictures that they could find. But even the images weren't reflective of what they were trying to say or sell as a story. So yeah, in that sense, I think it was a massive win for Tommy because he was very clever to have it live streamed as well. So you in real time could see what was happening. I think this is one of these demonstrations that was pretty much covered from every single angle you could imagine. So, anyone that tries to say otherwise, like whether it's, a racist, even if they try and put the racist trope or whatever, you can see there's Asians there, there's Black people there, there's Hispanics there, that, you just can't, those allegations on Tommy don't stick anymore because people have seen and had a dose of the reality of what the situation is and the vastness of the people that are supporting him.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you muted yourself.
I think she was done speaking.
Oh, yeah,
okay.
no, I'm good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I hope we get here and it's exciting. I think it will be. I hope people manage.
I've been phoned by a mate who is.
The only thing is that the sound was kind of off. It only comes from the right side.
What? I heard it both sides.
Really?
I've been abused, raped, trafficked, tortured, some even murdered. We was blamed.
Wait, is this the whole rally? What is happening here? This file doesn't make any sense to me.
If you wish to protest, as a political police force that would.
Okay, hold up. I'm trying to. Wait a minute.
We apologize, everyone, for this embarrassing display of incompetence.
Okay, so this is the film. This is the film that he actually showed on stage, which was premiered. I have it here with me. It's called Lawfare, and it's mainly about two-tier policing in the UK. And it's actually very, very well done because he kind of in detail broke down what a totalitarian state is and the different aspects of totalitarianism, how totalitarianism is practiced and enforced and things like that. And he gave examples of how these totalitarian aspects take place in the UK. For example, he comes to two-tier policing here in chapter 1, and then he shows how different people are treated by the police.
They are protesters from the controversial Just Stop Oil Group.
Get out, mate, come on.
How long are you going to stay here for?
Thank you.
Whoa, children!
This is what you get when you're a football fan.
And yet when they march down with hundreds of Palestinian flags, you won't say a word.
Stay, you're going to get arrested.
You are quite openly.
Why, when it's us, they ask the police?
We've established what you're doing or what you're up to.
Two-tier policing. Two-tier policing.
Great job, Met
Isn't
Police.
the police so cute?
Yeah, they're
UK police
adorable.
So cute, so cute, so lovely.
Hey, you should check with Tommy and make sure it's cool. But we should just sit here and watch the entire thing. I don't mean right now. I don't mean right now. In the future, just sit down and watch the entire thing. Maybe pausing it every once in a while for thoughts and so on.
We could do a watch party.
Could have like 10 people. Yeah, could have like 10 people watching.
Yeah. This always brings to mind my personal experience actually with the UK police, with the Metropolitan Police. Remember when Ali Dawa back in the day made that video in which he said that I should be executed, and
that's good because I was like, "What experience do you have with the Met Police, liar?" And then, nope. Good point.
So where he made that video saying that people like me who leave their religion and talk about it in public, we deserve to be executed, and Muslims like himself would be watching, and they're proud of that and all that. I have all the receipts. I actually contacted the police and told them about the situation, broke it all down, sent them the videos with timestamps and so on. Just actually, my primary motive there was to see what's actually going to happen, because around the same time they were cracking down on people who were just making jokes. I remember they arrested this one guy who went to an airport prayer space and just recorded a video of himself where he's making fun of the Muslim prayer and published it online, and he was arrested and charged with with hate crimes and things like that. So when I reported Ali Dawa for making that video in which he says that people like me should be executed, the response, despite back and forths, was that he is just expressing his passionate religious beliefs, and that there's nothing that can be done. I'm like, are you joking? This guy is saying that I should be executed, I should be killed simply for leaving the religion and talking about it. How is this just expression of passionate religious beliefs? And they're like, there's just nothing we can do. We have reviewed it, and this is obviously a debate, and obviously the person in question is very passionate about his religious beliefs. Therefore, there is just nothing we can do. This is how they treat when Muslims speak, and versus what they do when non-Muslims make fun of Islam.
Yeah, and that was the same exact reaction of YouTube, right? YouTube had the exact same reaction. So YouTube and the Met Police, both. And here's the thing: we all know exactly what the reaction would have been from the Met Police and from YouTube's Trust and Safety team if the situation had been reversed, and you had been saying, hey, I can't wait till there's so many of us ex-Muslims that we can take over and publicly execute all Muslims. You know exactly what the response would have been if the situation had been reversed. But they just drop their standards to the floor whenever they're dealing with Dawa clowns.
Yeah.
And literally, this is across the board, their reaction. Like they always say, oh, we can't really do anything until something happens. So essentially, it's just reactive until you're actually like stabbed or you're killed or something. Then they'll investigate. Then they can kind of open up the investigation. But until then, these are just him being impassioned about his faith. Just relax.
Yes, sorry, darling. We've got to wait for somebody to get stabbed or killed, then we can take action.
Exactly.
He also included actually footage from Mohammed Hijab here.
What is acceptable and what is not.
We'll find some Jews there. You know what the Zionists, you want the blood.
What we're saying now, and I'm making it very clear so everyone understands, if those dogs come close to us again, we will see it as an act of aggression, and we will kill those dogs, we'll put them down.
We saw Hamas supporters shouting death to Jews, saying that Hitler was right, calling for a genocide in Israel. They were left alone. The mainstream media deemed it a peaceful protest. The police didn't touch them.
Thousands of people take to the streets following the massacre of Jewish people, the single largest loss of Jewish life since the Holocaust, chanting for the erasure of Israel from the map. To my mind, there's only one way to describe those marches. They are hate marches.
You cannot wave the Union Jack.
Arresting an Englishman for flying a Union Jack when there's people here literally tacitly supporting the October 7th.
You cannot preach the Christian gospel.
If you make members of the public harassment, alarm, distress, it's a criminal offence.
I'm aware of that. Yeah, so that's what we're not really doing that. What we're doing is about preaching our religion. You asked me what I've been preaching, so we've been preaching about the gospel of Jesus Christ.
And closer to home for me, you cannot work as a journalist if the government doesn't like your views or your reporting.
I'm here at work. Yeah.
That this has got nothing to do with your role as a journalist.
But I'm here at work.
Your presence here is causing alarm and distress.
And you don't think
if you do not leave and sort out your refund, I will come in and I'll make sure you.
What I saw.
He's actually coming there and telling him that if you don't leave, I will come in there and make you leave. Because your presence is causing distress. Your presence is very alarming. Because you are Tommy Robinson, and we can't have that.
Yeah, no, that is extremely messed up when you say that it's against the law to cause alarm and when you're present. It's against the law for your presence to cause alarm and distress. And if your presence is causing alarm and distress, we will remove you from a city. The reason that's messed up is that encourages people to become alarmed and distressed about anyone they don't like. Anyone shows up, you just, okay, we'll throw a big tantrum, we'll burn a bunch of stuff to the ground. And what will police do? They'll go after the person we're throwing a tantrum about. So it encourages it. It encourages it. Instead of doing the opposite, which is what police should be doing, saying, guys, it doesn't matter if this guy causes you alarm and distress. This is that's the way things are. Live with it. Live with it. And if you guys start rioting, we'll lock you up and we'll protect him. That's the way it should be. But it's the opposite there for some reason, because the UK was opposite world for a while.
Bigly. Nuria?
Yeah, sorry. This is just it's kind of years and years of things that have transpired in the UK for the Met Police to take like the complete kind of like bend over backwards to appease anything. Like Tommy, his presence, and I say that I was also like victim to this at one point. I believe the narrative that he was exceptionally racist. He would disturb the peace wherever he went. He would fan religious tensions, ethnic tensions, communal tensions. And so that is still the line that the Met Police are running with, which is, it's ridiculous because, again, it is exactly why he's speaking out. It's the two-tier policing. And it's them since the grooming gang scandal, since things that have happened from over 20 years ago, they have been taught to be so concerned with diversity and protecting these ethnic minorities or protecting religious sentiment, and Islamophobia, that was up there. And Tommy has been seen to be like the face of anti-Islam in the UK. And obviously that's all coming to light now. So, I mean, barring somebody like that from an entire city when he was, at that anti-Semitic march himself, absolutely done nothing wrong, yet he has to prove himself time and time again, and he's gone through the court system. They've rinsed him through that system. You've seen how the mainstream media still vilify him, but yeah, the guy's just eating breakfast. Sometimes they come in, they try and arrest him when he's hanging out with his daughter or he's on holiday with his family or whatever he's doing. But yeah, it's literal harassment now, so I get where he's coming from.
I have a question for Nuria, since you're over there. There was something that was brought up, and me and AP briefly talked about it a long time ago, but we're not from there, so we don't know the situation. But we've seen it pointed out, and we've kind of wondered why. But it's been pointed out that Douglas Murray is saying something almost identical to what Tommy Robinson is saying. And yet Douglas Murray can actually be on news programs and so on and be taken seriously. Whereas even though Tommy's saying pretty much the exact same thing, there's just this like massively dialed up hostility towards him. And some people have said it's like a class issue. Like the working class, you're supposed to not be saying the same. You're not allowed to speak in the same way the educated classes are allowed to speak. But is that the case? Is that I'm trying to figure out, because if you listen to Douglas Murray, he actually is saying something very, very similar to Tommy Robinson, and yet he's allowed to run this, run the circuits and publish articles and so on media web sites and stuff. So wondering why that is.
Yeah, and he gets called on time and time again. And I'd say Douglas Murray goes as hard sometimes in his approach as Tommy has done. But yeah, I would put it down to a lot of it is the kind of elitist class fact. Tommy represents the working class, like white man. And again, his past has been like very much linked in with like hooliganism and all the kind of more negative aspects of white culture that they don't want to be seen as kind of, being the mouthpiece of this country, and the fact that the views are alienating other aspects of society. Whereas Douglas Murray represents the more, as you said, like a bit more of the educated elite class, and you just get away with saying a lot more. England does have that problem anyway, where there is a lot of classism that goes on. You can see that within politics as well. Everybody that's running for major office, especially the Tory party, they're pretty much all schoolmates. They've gone to the same schools. They were competing back then, and now they're just competing on a national level. So yeah, it's you go to certain schools, you have a certain trajectory that you follow. Oh my God, I just used Mohammed Hijab's word. But like you have
if the trajectory,
you see, this proves that Nuria watches all of my videos. How could anyone know the word? How could anyone know the word trajectory except from me?
I actually, when I was in London, when was that? Was it a week ago? I don't even know. I don't remember. So when I was there, I went to that interview of Andrew Gold on his show Heretics, I sat down and I was talking about the situation of Islam in the UK, and I'm talking, and at some point, I don't know how it happened, it slipped out, but I said, and the way it goes right now, the trajectory, I said, and then calmly continued. The thing is, like, I'm totally focused on the serious topic that I'm talking about. I just continued talking about the trajectory, but in my head, I'm cracking up.
that word will never be the same. Honestly, he's ruined it or given us all a laugh for life. I don't know which one.
And then your interviewer said, "Stop being such a pusillanimous."
Man, I actually said trajectory. How could I do that?
You and me both, AP. You and me both.
What an ultra crepidarian.
What is happening to us? What has this world come to? Yeah. Where was I? Oh yeah, I was somewhere here. Okay.
Of history. They see you as being on the racist side of history. Again, that's so disrespectful of us as a nation.
For the moment, anything racist or even close to racism is said. Let me finish. For the moment, anything gets anything close to that, all right? People are going to start getting arrested.
You can hold it, you can wave it. It's just we don't want to
Stop causing any sort of issues with the barriers. Have your flags, just not on the barriers, that's it.
And yet when they march down with hundreds of Palestinian flags, you won't say a word.
One just went past banging it out of the car. You didn't see fuck all.
There's way more of them than there is of us.
Nuria, how does it make you feel that you are in the UK, you are strongly against Islam, you are familiar with Islam and all of this and all of the slogans, and you actually see that in your city there are these barbarian-looking guys here walking around and actually carrying the jihadist flag, screaming, "May Allah curse the kuffar," and the Jews.
It's wild, AP, because I'm like, these people share the same city as me. Like they're just they just live amongst us here. But like their view and the way that they live in London, like the way that I access this city is probably vastly different to them, because I can actually access the city for like what's beautiful and amazing about it. Like, I can enjoy this city to the max. How do they enjoy this city? By staying within an enclave, by going to Islamic schools, or by going to universities, wearing hijab and going straight home and never bothering to hear any opposing opinions or getting to know other people, and then coming out on the streets and weekends to demonstrate and hold flags of literal prescribed terror organizations. So, yeah, you might be living in this country, you might be British, you might even be a Londoner, but your mind is completely, well, in 7th century Arabia, and your universe exists almost in a parallel dichotomy. So our British experience is so different. And like, yeah, I'm so glad that like the UK has come down a little bit harder. We were being very lax. It's only recently, and I think the revival of what Tommy's doing is really helping. But now people aren't afraid to say, that is a prescribed terror organization that you are making excuses for. And I'm starting to hear that a lot more now. So yeah, I'm hoping that really this is the beginning and we're waking up.
That's good. That's good. And with events like these, so the importance of this is very significant of what Tommy Robinson did here. Earlier today, or even yesterday, when we were talking about this, I kept getting questions from some people on Twitter, for example, who would say things like, "Why would you support this? Why would you support Tommy Robinson? There are so many dangerous, divisive things," and so on. And the thing is, I watched the rally, I watched all the speeches, and there are indeed things that were said that I strongly disagree with. There are things in the part of this rally that I slightly disagree with, strongly disagree with, generally disagree with. I don't care. What the general point of this rally here is quite clear. There is something severely, significantly wrong in the UK when it comes to policing, when it comes to politics, when it comes to how different religions are treated and perceived, and the rise of Islam, which should not be welcomed at all. So I can look past all those disagreements and support Tommy Robinson here, because what he does by setting this rally up and gathering thousands of people and having 900,000 people watch him online, he is sending a message. Everyone who attended here, who supported this, is sending a message to the UK government, to the politicians in charge, who can no longer ignore these resentments, these feelings that people like Tommy Robinson and other well-meaning patriots have. So they will have to at some point open their eyes and consider that it might be time to stop being so damn stupid and stop ignoring the grievances of people who just love their country and who don't want Islam everywhere around them.
Oh my God, can I clap, Avy? I felt like clapping after that. I was like, yes, preach for the UK.
I don't know how
No,
you're clapping. That's the most racist thing I've ever heard. Anyway.
Thank you, Dave. Yes.
Yeah, but AP also, sorry, can I just quickly say as well, because I was very unsure about Tommy for a very long time. And again, standard Muslim, I guess, household in the UK. I guess mostly, there's obviously going to be some that would vote Tory, but the majority of Muslims in the UK usually vote Labour. And the general view that you held of Tommy, that your parents had told you that you had growing up, was that he was exceptionally racist, extreme far right, all of these things. And then having obviously like years later left Islam, come back to the UK, listen to his Oxford Union speech, listen to his like situation about his hometown in Luton, listen to the things he was saying. I was honestly like, I was in Islam looking for like anything that could make me hold on to my faith and think that Allah was actually good and Muhammad was good. The same way I was looking for anything on Tommy that would prove to me he was racist. And, he was that far right bigger that everybody said he was, because you're always trying to confirm your confirmation bias that you're taught. And I just couldn't. And I had to change my position on him. And yes, there's probably so many things I don't agree with, but he is slap bang on the money when it comes to Islam. And he's one of the bravest people in the UK, things that politicians, even Nigel Farage, Suella Braverman, she's done so well. But to go as far as to say what Tommy's done, even in his lawfare film now, to comment on Muhammad, to comment on Islam, to comment on his marriage to Aisha, he has pushed that boundary that even politicians couldn't touch. So yeah, I'm with you all the way that I have this renewed kind of support. He has my support in this sense for sure.
it gives hope, right? It is inspiring. It brings hope. That's very good. One of the shocking things about this is I'm trying to find that place, but he was talking in detail about how when he was banned from entering London for a while, he would have to in order to just get to the city, he would have to go to a Muslim police officer and ask him for permission specifically if he is allowed to enter, and then the person in charge can then allow or refuse it. And just think about that for a second.
That sounds like the opposite of dhimmi. Like of the haze being the dhimmi, like the new modern dhimmi status in your own country. You got to report to a Muslim police officer to get his permission to enter the capital.
No, this is talking about how brave Tommy is. I've had kind of like a glimpse of what he goes through, but it's massively dialed up for him. But years ago, when we were in Dearborn, it's like understood. Like if I have a problem with a guy on the street and it gets physical or someone's attacking me or something, you could call the cops. If the cops don't do their job, you can start calling in lawyers and stuff. You can go up the chain and stuff to have someone deal with the problem. But in Dearborn, when we were surrounded by a group of Muslims, it was not violent. We were answering questions. Nabil was answering questions of a group of young Muslims there. And then police come and throw us in jail. And then police take us so they put us in jail, and then we have to go to court. And then but it's a situation where when the police are on a side of people who want to silence you, like, what do you do? What could you possibly do in that situation? It's a really, really weird feeling from what you know from just normal life, when, hey, if there's a problem, I can call up the cops. What if the cops hate you and want to destroy you? Then who exactly do you call? And what if the prosecutors and judges, what if they're all on the same page going after you? Now, fortunately, in our situation, that was a place we went to. We didn't have to live there. We left. We were there for a couple of days, then we could get out. And fortunately, we were able to go up the court chain and get everything dealt with by higher courts. And then, of course, the police department, everyone had to apologize for what they did. But imagine it wasn't like that. And you could go all the way up to the top and everyone is against you. And so you've got like the government against you, the media is against you, police are against you, prosecutors are trying to screw you. Everyone in any position of power is trying to destroy you. And you just keep going. You just keep going out. Anyway, that's pretty tough, dude. That's pretty tough, dude.
That's pretty stupid.
Yeah, because David, just like you're saying, the question that comes up, and I think people ask as well, is why do you keep going, and what keeps you, like, why would you continue this fight, and aren't you tired? And he's just like, nope, I'm doing this for my kids. I'm doing this for the future of my kids. Like, this can't go on the way it is. And I think in that sense, that's why he really is like able to kind of bring out, like, he has those kind of leader qualities in the sense that no matter how many times he's been kicked down by the, let's say, the state or the powers that be, according to what he shows in Lawfare, it's like every single time he's fought back. And I'm talking about having to leave the country for months at a time, trying to apply to America for asylum, like literally having to have a base somewhere else and be barred from his own capital. Like, I do get what you're saying. Like, it is, to come back from everything against you is tough.
And going along with what you were just saying, that there was a time when he wanted asylum for his family in the U.S., didn't get it. And so, but I mean, think about that. It was, no, you're not getting out. You're stuck here. And then it's okay. But it's an interesting situation that you're just pointing out, this, I'm doing it for my family, because there are two directions you could go when you're thinking about your family. You could say, okay, I need to be concerned about my kids and what could happen to them by being associated with me. So I need to keep my mouth shut. I need to actually move somewhere and keep my mouth closed. Otherwise, all this abuse that's coming at me, it's going to be directed at them too, as it is. And so you could say, for the good of my family, I need to back down for the good of my family. But that's very short-term thinking. Like, it has to be, no, for the sake of my family, I have to stand my ground and never back down. But here's the thing: it can't just be Tommy. It has to be a lot of other people as well standing up and say we cannot pass this problem off to future generations. We got to deal with it right now.
Okay, so people are having some complaints about the audio. Where apparently, I'm just checking with everybody right now. Where David is apparently very low, and people are saying just mute David. So I'm probably going to just mute you, David. Or you might want to get closer to your microphone. I think.
Is my audio low? Because it's your system that adjusts my audio. That's the
probably
weird part.
That doesn't make sense. I know. I just checked. It says audio balance, but I don't know. Anyway, let's look at this part here.
Police officers lied in their statements, fabricated paperworks. They lost all their body-worn video footage. That's right. Every police officer you see with a body camera on, they all lost it. The dog ate my homework, Your Honour. So have we won? Or have they won? They physically attacked me. They pepper sprayed me. They banned me from my capital city for 6 months. They financially bleed me. The point I want people to understand is I've just said I've won, yeah? Have we won? Do we have freedom? For the last 6 months, I've been banned from entering my capital city. Whilst jihadists have took over our capital city week in, week out, with the grace of the police allowing them to, I've had my restrictions, my right to a family life. I even went to court to ask if I could take my children to the Christmas lights turn on, and I was refused that opportunity. For the last 6 months, I've had to go to a Muslim police officer and ask permission to come into my own capital city, of which one of the meetings was to interview a member of parliament. That Muslim police officer refused that request. That is a police state. That is not freedom. What's been ruled on is that the arrest was unlawful, pepper spraying was unlawful. They arrested me on my daughter's birthday. Yeah, on my daughter's birthday, that's now unlawful. Their bail conditions are unlawful. This is about lawfare. The process is the punishment.
All right.
Everything that I heard is just absolutely insane. But I mean, that one part just gets my attention, which is so we are talking about the impact of Islam, the religious stuff at work here. Tommy Robinson is specifically known as an opponent of Islam, as a critic of Islam, as an opponent of these immigration policies and all that, and he is banned from entering his own capital city, and he actually has to, as somebody who is an opponent of Islam, has to go to a Muslim police officer to ask for permission to enter the capital city to do whatever you need to do. It is just absolutely insane. It is absolutely insane. Why would this guy not be angry? Why would this guy not stand up and say, enough is enough?
I was just gonna say, yeah, angry, broken, and then obviously still have that fight in him to come back and be like, no, I'm gonna still do this. But like AP, look, it's worked. He's been saying this for like, I don't know, a good 20 years now. And only now people who, like the way that I turn my opinion on him, he keeps putting it on X as well, because so many people have done like a 180 and said, Tommy, I am so sorry. I believe the media. I fell for it. I used to think you were the worst of the worst. You were all these things that they label you. Yeah, I watch one thing, or I spoke to you in person, or I hear what you're saying now, or I've woken up to the reality. And so now he's got this whole new wave of support. And to be honest, what's happening with the pro-Palestine marches and the way that these I'm sorry to say, but a lot of these kind of like these Muslim bloc voters are trying to intimidate members of parliament and try and influence British foreign policy about what they should be doing in Gaza, is making actual like concerned like general like non-Muslim Brits be like, what is going on? Why is this religion, its tentacles are going as far as the parliament? So he's got a whole new wave of support for everybody that's turned away from, let's say, even like the Labour Party, who couldn't define a woman properly. They couldn't even have the guts to do that, who kept switching their position on Gaza. It wasn't enough for the Muslims. But so many people have been isolated, and all of those people are turning to face like who's actually addressing the real problems. And yes, Tommy's not a politician by any means, but he is the exact right personality needed for activism in this country to like get the people together. And that's what he's very good at. So I think he said himself today, like, I don't really have an interest in politics because politicians have very different agendas, and I'm just patriotic and I want to change my country, so I'm better off being an activist. But like what you saw happen today, he even, like you said, he was nervous, he was anxious because it went so well and it didn't turn into anything that people were hoping it would. Well, his opponents were hoping it would. He said this is going to be a lot more regular. So I don't want to put words in his mouth, but apparently he said like on the 26th, 27th of June, there's going to be another one, and then there's going to be plenty more. So yeah, this is the beginning of a whole new movement, I reckon.
Yeah, he said this is not the end, and all those he said some very good words, which were that there were probably a lot of people who were not sure about coming, who were scared, who thought this might be, things might get out of control, or it might not go very well, and so on, and they stayed home. They should now see that they have nothing to fear. Everything is well. It's a wonderful event, and next time, all those who couldn't come this time, please all come and join us, he said. So that's supposed to happen in the end of July, and I hope it becomes regular and gets bigger and bigger and has more and more impact.
What Nuria was just pointing out, that Tommy has no interest in saying, not interested in politics. I'm not saying he should be interested in like becoming a politician or something like that, but I have to say that that's supposed to be a requirement for a good politician, is to not want to be in that position. So I have to say that's actually a plus in my book. Someone who says, I do not want to be a politician, but these guys are screwing it up so much that they make me want to go in there and actually fix this nonsense. But yeah, it is this crazy thing that, and I remember seeing this years ago, where like Tommy would they would have an event, and Tommy would be at an event. I mean, like at a university. So there's there's a bunch of like students there and so on, and Tommy's one of the people there. And he would talk about grooming gangs, and why aren't we allowed to talk about grooming gangs, and what's going on with these grooming gangs, and why are police protecting these guys and not protecting the little girls, and so on. And then they would take comments from the audience, and it's like, and this sort of racism, this sort of racist attitude that we see, and every single person who would comment would say something about racism, when it's like, what? And Tommy would be going, what? Tell me what I said that is racist or has anything to do with race. Tell me the one word. And they would go, yeah, so the racism here that we've seen, and they just kept going on and on for the entire thing. But yeah, if all you ever hear about a guy from the media and from everyone else is he's an extremist, racist, and so on, you just tend to think that's what the person must be. I mean, so many people are saying it must be true. But it is interesting, because that has been weaponized for so long against anyone who criticizes Islam or certain things. You wonder if people actually catch on to it right now. If people catch on to it over Tommy and some of the other things that are going on, maybe they don't fall for it next time either with the next person who comes along. And maybe the next person they hear criticize something with Islam or something like that, maybe they don't listen to the noise about, oh, it must be the reason this person must be objecting to child marriage. It must be because he just doesn't like brown people. That must be the real reason behind this person objecting to child marriage or something like that.
Definitely. That's usually what it is. Yeah, absolutely. I want to listen to one very, very interesting part. I kind of went ooh when this appeared. This is Calvin Robinson, who is, I think, he said he's a Catholic cleric
named after John Calvin.
I don't know, but he gave a speech here remotely, where he was very, very blunt about Islam. And I think this actually deserves its own entire review. But I want you to just listen to this.
What? It's too quiet.
Come on, are you kidding?
Hello, it's Father Calvin Robinson here. First of all, congratulations on getting this thing together. It's a fantastic start of a movement on the 1st of June. I'm really sorry that I can't be there in person. I had a prior engagement, but I'm with you in spirit, because I think this is vital, getting the country together, not just a right versus left issue, but a Britain versus everything else issue. We have seen in this country our values eroded over the past 10 to 20 years, and our faith has been at the core of that. England has always been a Christian country.
Hold up. I was looking at
Yes, you were wrong.
his Christianity. Now, yes, people were saying Anglicanism. However, then I opened a wiki page on him. It says until 2023 Anglicanism, since 2023 Old Catholicism, Nordic Catholic Church.
Oh, y'all got burned. Y'all thought you were gonna correct AP, and
Yeah.
now you've been humiliated.
Everyone got humiliated.
Everyone
but
got humiliated.
the thing is, what is Old Catholic? What is Nordic Catholic Church? I have no idea.
I think it's pretty similar to Anglican, to be fair.
Okay. I really wonder what the difference is now. I'm going to study this after the show. Yeah. Anyway.
There will be people that say, no, it was pagan, blah, blah, blah. No, England, since its foundation as a country, has always been a Christian country. And that's important because it's kind of formed who we are as a people. And from our laws to our values, to our culture, to our language, all of it comes from the Christian faith. It's all from that same foundation, such as the common law system that we have, where an Englishman's home is his castle. And we should be free to do as we please as long as we're not breaking a law. We don't have the active law system that they have in the EU and the US, as an example. But what we're seeing as we take Christ out of education, academia, our legal system, the courts, parliament, as we take Christ out of all of these things, this tale that we've been told is that we could fill them with secularism, that we could have political neutrality, and that all ideas will be treated equal. But that is a lie. We know that to be a lie. When you take something out, something else has to go in to fill its place. Nature abhors a vacuum. And what we've seen filling that void is Mohammedanism. And Mohammedanism, despite what the liberals tell you, is counter to our way of life. It's contradictory to British values, to Christian values, where Islam tells you to kill your enemy, Christianity tells you to die of yourself. There's a very, very different concept. The Christian faith is about love, faith, hope, and love. The Islamic cult is a death cult founded by a warmongering pedophile. Let's be honest. I'm not saying this.
Up until this point, I thought, okay, I'm just listening to a regular, Christian preacher about Christian values and so on. I'm playing this specifically because when it came to this point, I was like, wait a minute, what? So he went like a regular traditional Christian preacher until this point, and then he went hardcore. He called Islam a cult, death cult, and said that that it was founded by a warmongering pedophile.
That is pretty funny. And that's why we need to talk about our Christian values, not the values of that child molesting, murdering rapist followed by those other guys over there.
That's literally it.
Was anybody expecting this?
To be fair, I was, just because somebody said this is how he's laid it out. This is how he threw Islam in his whole film showing today. And one other thing where he throws Islam completely under the bus. But coming from a Christian preacher, wow, that's beautiful.
I know it's you don't hear this very much, right? You don't hear this very much,
No.
especially from people who are well known, who are Christian preachers. You don't hear stuff like this very much. But he has, I mean, what he just said there and how he just described Islam is almost worse than whatever I heard from the Islamophobe David Wood. So,
And he does it with a stiff upper lip and an Oxford accent. Yeah.
Even David is getting uncomfortable here.
This guy's crossing some lines, man. I'm like, dude, dial it back, man. Have some nuance.
David is telling you to have nuance. You know you've crossed the line.
Yeah. David here. Mike Winger would never say. Oh man. I just want to listen to that again because he's going to continue, and I want to listen to the whole thing.
Tells you to kill your enemy. Christianity tells you to die of yourself. There's a very, very different concept. The Christian faith is about love, faith, hope, and love. The Islamic cult is a death cult founded by a warmongering paedophile. Let's be honest. I'm not saying this to be offensive or to trigger. This is the truth. And we've skirted around this for so long out of fear of causing offense. Well, we have to stop being afraid of causing offense because our country is being torn apart as a result.
I'm not saying this to be mean, but let's face it, the guy was a demon-possessed pedophile.
Yeah.
Can we just finally say it? Come on.
No offense, but it's a death cult and warmongering pedophile. No offense.
And listen, just because Ahmed over here wants to hump a goat doesn't mean we have to accept it in the UK. Not trying to be offensive here. Not trying to be offensive.
I want to talk to this guy now. Like, I just want to talk to this guy now.
Oh, you should get him on, dude.
Definitely. I will try.
He seems like he'd be fine because, there are lots of people who wouldn't want to be on a show with you because they'd be like, oh, no, AP says all these offensive things. But this guy's like, I'll go. AP show's a little watered down for my taste, but I'll set him straight.
Hey, this is a good point. Sabine van den Otelaar said, AP, get him on your soundboard. This is a good idea. I should take a soundbite from here and put this on my soundboard.
A warmongering paedophile. The Christian faith is about love, faith, hope, and love. The Islamic cult is a death cult founded by a warmongering paedophile. Let's be honest. I'm not saying this to be offensive or to trigger. This is the truth. And we've skirted around this for so long out of fear.
I didn't know much about you. I've seen photos of you before
at various events.
I've seen photos of him. I saw him prior to this with big hair, but massive respect. So much respect for saying this, for just putting this out there, for being so straight, so honest, and so blunt about it. Man, I have nothing but respect for that. Until this point, I was like, okay, yeah, good point, Christian values, this and that, and then he goes hardcore here. I respect it.
Hey, you know what's absolutely like the most insane thing right now about this is you just played that clip. If you played this clip in front of the Dawa guys, they'd be like, oh, what a racist, what a bigot, what a hate monger, what an Islamophobe. Why? What did he say? He called Muhammad a warmongering pedophile. Okay, why don't you tell us about Muhammad and your views? Yes, we're going to conquer the world. We're going to conquer the world. We're going to take over everyone, and we're going to marry your children. And even if a baby is 11 months old, as long as there's some sign of maturity, you can bang that little baby, and we demand child marriage, and we will conquer the... Like, what? Do you understand the terms warmongering, pedophile? Why are you objecting? You should be wearing these as badges, given the things that you're saying. Why are you complaining about what the guy said?
That's the most Islamophobic thing I've heard in my entire life.
Well, you're a racist, so who cares?
Yeah.
Yeah, causing offense. Well, we have to stop being afraid of causing offense because our country is being torn apart as a result. The truth is, there are many, many people in this country that want to turn it into an Islamic caliphate. And I don't want Britain to become an Islamic caliphate. I don't want England to become an Islamic caliphate. I look at countries that are predominantly Mohammedan, and I see that people are thrown off roofs for having the wrong sort of lifestyle. Women are not allowed to drive or learn and have to cover their faces with all but the letterbox of the niqab. It's wrong.
He called it the letterbox. Didn't Boris Johnson get so much hate for saying that back in the day?
He echoed Bojo. What? He really is. Wow. Out there. You were right, David. Letterbox as well.
Wow.
Those were his words, right? Boris Johnson is the one who said letterbox, who called him letterbox.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Letterbox ninjas. He's got a lot of stick for a lot of words.
Wow. Not like these Islamic countries where women walk around dressed like frumpy ninjas. No offense. No offense.
No offense. Man.
It's wrong, and it's not in our way of life. The English way has always been freedom of religion, so that people can worship however they want. The problem there has been that it was always assumed that we'd be worshipping the Christian God, and that is no longer the case, which means that people are worshipping this this warmongering paedophile, probably under demonic influence. And it's
there we go. He did it. I said say it, and he said it.
He just doubled down. It's just
he
so...
said it. I was like, hey, I joked around. Hey, you left out pedophile, and then he said it. I mean, I joked around. You left out demon possessed, and then probably under the influence of demons. That's funny.
No offense, though. No offense.
This guy's legend status, man. How are we not more familiar with these guys? Get this guy on, AP. Come on.
I think he never spoke like this before. He also, I mean, this is why he remarks that he didn't want to do this in the past, but we have to be honest now. So it's good.
He's making a very important point there as far as like British people not wanting to cause offense, and that's like Western civilization in kind of in general now. Just like one of the worst things you can do is cause offense or hurt someone's feelings or something. But he says it's destroying our society. This fear of causing offense is destroying our society. So if you want to say that, yeah, if you have a really good, well-functioning society and you don't want to walk around offending everyone, maybe be careful and maybe be somewhat careful about the things you're saying. Don't go around trying to just offend everyone. If your society is being destroyed, that is not a time to be worried about hurting someone's feelings there.
Yep. Precisely.
However they want. The problem there has been that it was always assumed that we'd be worshipping the Christian God. And that is no longer the case, which means that people are worshipping this warmongering paedophile, probably under demonic influence, and it's tearing us apart at the seams. So what is the answer to that? The answer to that is return to Christianity, return to Christ. And there are many, many people on our side who do not have the faith, but still see the importance of Christianity. To leave you with a message, I will not call it.
And there is something I can agree with, which is... and we talked about this recently, David. We talked about this within the context of Ayaan Hirsi Ali, of Richard Dawkins, even, who recently came under fire by certain people for simply repeating his already very well-known position that he's a cultural Christian and that he prefers to have Christian cultural aspects in place instead of having them replaced with whatever Islam is. But this is an important... a popular point that is becoming more and more echoed nowadays, which is, on the one hand, you have Christianity and Christian values and Christian symbols. On the other hand, you have an emptiness that is that brings in Islam. And of course, you can think whatever you want about Christian values and Christian beliefs and Christian symbolism or whatever it is. I think everyone who is not a Muslim would rather have Christian values in the UK than Islamic values. Right, Nuria? Be careful how you respond to this question.
I was going to say, absolutely, Christian values over Islamic ones, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's weird.
See?
I don't even I mean, apart from just like a recent couple of decades of people being really angry at Christianity, I don't even understand how that would be something controversial to say. Like, if I could say, hey, if I had to pick between a society of Hindus and a society of Muslims, I go with the Hindus, right? I could say, hey, if I had a society of Buddhists or a society of Muslims, I go, and keep in mind, I'm not saying all Muslims are bad or something like that. I just understand that culture is way more likely than really any other culture in the world to produce people who want to slaughter me in the name of their God and subjugate me and silence me and things like that. So I don't want that. But it is interesting as far as what he was pointing out about like creating a vacuum and something else is going to move in. You only you don't have a lot of ideologies that are basically trying to get everyone else to agree with them, right? So like Judaism isn't like that. They don't go around, hey, the whole world has to believe in Judaism. Hinduism isn't like that. Islam is, Christianity is, and the recent version of the new atheism is like that in terms of kind of being aggressive and saying, hey, you need to be on the same page with us. But it's like, if you have, this is true in general, if you have some sort of ideology that has lasted for centuries or for thousands of years in some cases, and has lasted through invasions and wars and subjugations, and it's just still there. Whatever it is, it's got some things going for it that make it work somehow, whatever that may be. So yeah, Islam has some things going for it in terms of expanding and maintaining the system. And I would look at those as a lot of negative things, like, well, we'll chop your head off if you leave. Well, guess what? That does work. It does work. And threats and violence do keep people in line. Hinduism. That area has been conquered repeatedly, and you still got Hinduism there. Judaism. Everyone conquered the Jews back in everyone has conquered the Jews, the Assyrians, the Babylonians, the Greeks, the Romans, all the way down until very recently. They've been scattered, and yet they've got something going for them. But Islam is especially kind of aggressive in like sensing some sort of weakness and then just moving in. So if you have a society where Christianity has been what has been flourishing in that society, and then all of a sudden you strip it away or make it way weaker, Islam is gonna sense the weakness and it's gonna pile on in there. So I'd say you better have a pretty good plan for however you're gonna react to this, because the way people have been reacting is pretty garbage.
This is what you get here. It's not just the Islamists, it's also the pro-Palestine movement that kind of buys into the same behavior.
Hey, come!
Gosh, they're playing Hunt the Jew, and this chick on the phone's giggling and stuff about it.
Apparently, it's a normal thing nowadays to just to find the Jew and to hunt them and to make them run. So funny, so freaking hilarious, isn't it?
And then they have the audacity to take a moral high ground. Like literally, this is how they act in their daily lives. Wow.
There is something you said, David, which is that Judaism, despite being conquered so much, still has this thing going for them. There's just a major difference, and I think everyone can see, even an atheist, agnostic, whatever it is, can see that there is a huge difference between Christianity and Judaism and Islam in terms of its foundations, its core values. With Judaism, you have a vast history of millennia of a solid foundation that is so well taken care of and built upon such solid grounds and polished and nourished and whatever you want to call it, kept up with loyalty, with love. It has actual values that go back millennia, that go back thousands of years, actual real values that actually mean something, which they teach themselves and teach others and teach each other the entire time. What does Islam have? Nothing. Islam is theft. Islam just takes these values that Judaism has established. Islam takes the values that Christians have established. Islam takes the beliefs that Muhammad found in 7th century Arabia in a little insignificant spot in the world that nobody even cared about. So all it does is it has this little handful, this little basket of fleeting, insignificant values, all built on sand, no pun intended here, and doesn't have anything solid, doesn't have any pillars to support it. It is weak. It cannot actually hold itself up simply through values, which is why it has to rely on violence, on forcing people to believe, on preventing people from leaving, on preventing people from questioning and criticizing it, because it is not a religion like the others. One is not like the others, because one is just savagery. There, I said it. Okay. You happy now?
No, this is the most racist show I've ever been on.
What's funny is earlier Bob from Speaker's Corner was also at the event. He gave a speech. I texted him and said, "Hey, very, very happy to see you there." And he's just so intense. He texted me back and said, "The church stands with ex-Muslims, Ridwan, not the new atheists." I hope we can speak as soon as possible.
Based.
I love this guy.
Hey, yo,
Anyway.
when do you think, like, because Douglas Murray's pointed this out, a bunch of people have pointed this out, that like kind of the driving force in Islam and Dawah is this: we've got the final prophet, we've got the final book, we've got the final religion. We're here from God. We're the best of peoples. That's Surah 3 verse 110. They're the worst of creatures. That's Surah 98 verse 6. We're the best. Everyone else is the worst. And we're here because we've got the truth and we've got all this awesome stuff and we've got the final revelation and all your stuff is garbage. And that's why our stuff is so much better. Like, when do you think it's kicking in to the Muslim population? Like, just, can you open your eyes and look around you? Like, can you just open your eyes and look around you?
Can't.
What are you doing for the, how can you, apart from your book saying it, what criteria could you actually be using to say, look how much better we are and how much, how our ideology produces better things and how our book leads to better results and how our prophet leads to better people and something? Like, what possible basis could you have looking around at the world for thinking that you guys should be controlling the world because you're really, really good at making places where people want to live?
Yep.
Muslim. I will not use the word Muslim. Muslim means true believer. They are not true believers. People who worship or who follow Muhammad are not true believers of God.
There's just this one part where I thought, oh, okay, I want to correct that. Because Muslim just means one who submits, which is actually a perfect description for somebody who follows Islam.
He could make the exact same point for what he was saying and saying Muslims believe that Muslim means one who submits to God, but you're not submitting to God. You're submitting to a demon-possessed pedophile, I think is what he would want to say. But he could say it just like that and make the exact same point correctly.
Yeah, that's exactly what he wanted to say. Yeah.
It is true.
AKA Allah.
It is true, by the way. It's Surah 4 verse 65 says that you have to submit to Muhammad with complete submission. So Islam is really this religion where a guy comes out and says, hey, everyone, you have to submit to God. And you say, okay, what's that mean? Well, it means you submit to me in every decision I make. Okay, well, who are you actually worshiping there? If a guy comes along and says, hey, the only way you can submit to God is by mindlessly obeying everything I say to you, who are you actually submitting to there? And
David, that's reflective even in the blasphemy laws. Like in countries that we see, they don't really give it that much of a crap if you question God or the nature of God. But the second you talk about Muhammad or his character, that's when shit gets serious. So actually, in regards of blasphemy, he's held to a higher kind of standard than Allah himself.
That's a saying. Yeah. Matter of fact, I heard that from my first Muslim professor. His name was he's passed away now, but Dr. Mumtaz Ahmed, and he was saying his family was from Pakistan, and he was saying we had a saying back there, and he was actually pointing out difficulties in the Muslim world and how Muhammad has become an idol, even though he's a Muslim. He's pointing this out as an issue. He says, where my family comes from, there's a saying, say it about Allah, but do not say that about Muhammad. In other words, if you're tossing around some insult, hey, you can say it about God, you better not freaking say that about Muhammad. And it's like, how do you guys view yourselves as like the not committing shirk with this nonsense?
We all have the same experience and the same observation, or most of us. It really is like that, and it's strange how it is like that, where people get so much more worked up and feel so much more weird when you attack Muhammad as opposed to when you attack Allah. It is because Muhammad has this whole role in Islam. This is actually, I made a video about this a long time ago. I called it the cult of Muhammad, because they treat Muhammad like a demigod, like a figure that is just revered so much that while they accuse others of worshiping their priests and worshiping their rabbis, for example, while the Quran does that, it is actually Islam itself that puts Muhammad on such a level where he is considered so holy and so pure and so untouchable as a mere human, as a mere prophet, that that everyone is afraid of ever offending him. And it's also doctrine, by the way. It's like, this is a regular Islamic doctrine that disagreeing with Muhammad on something, being sarcastic about him, mocking him, and things like that are things that directly take you out of the fold of Islam, according to major Islamic jurisprudence books and scholars.
Yeah, and you can be killed. Like, insult him, gone.
Yeah,
There's like,
yeah.
it's in Sharia. Yeah.
There was even this funny
That's
thing
all.
that I read. I think I have the book here. When I was still a Muslim, it was very funny, and back then it actually made sense to me. I was reading a book on jurisprudence, on fiqh, and it said something like, if somebody says Muhammad, the Prophet Muhammad liked this certain thing, and you then passionately say, I don't like that certain thing, then this can put you out of the fold of Islam.
Muhammad's favorite color was red. I like black. No, dare you?
No, we can actually use that. Have that quote handy, AP, and we'll walk up to Muslims on the street and go, so do you like banging little girls? No. Aha! You're no longer a Muslim.
But first you have to say Muhammad used to like banging little girls. Do you like it? And then when they say no, then apostasy. Bam, dead. Yeah.
Muslim. I will not use the word Muslim. Muslim means true believer. They are not true believers. People who worship or who follow Muhammad are not true believers of God. Just as when they say Allahu Akbar, it doesn't mean God is great. It means God is greater. These are claims of dominance. That this Islamic faith is centered on taking over. The whole premise is to invade a land and to turn it into a caliphate for Islam.
He's right on the money with all this.
To get Sharia everywhere. Now, we don't want Sharia. Well, I don't want Sharia. I won't speak for you. If you don't want Sharia, we all need to stand up and say, we do not want Sharia.
I'm going to think about that a little bit. I'm not sure right now.
Hey, I have to say, I'm liking hearing some basically Christians from different Christian groups. So you got, Bishop Marmari, Emmanuel, and then he gets stabbed in the face and he's not even, Bishop Marmari is speaking. I mean, he's pointing out problems with Islam, but he's not being nearly as aggressive as this guy is. But it's good. It's good hearing people point out things that, I mean, 10 and 15 years ago, if we pointed them out, even though we can explain exactly where we're getting this from and show that what we're saying is completely true, you still just get called names for pointing the things out. Anyway, it's good that all these things are finally catching on and becoming common knowledge.
This typical psychopathy on display here in front of everyone's eyes. David is saying it's good to see that different Christian preachers are speaking out against Islam and then getting stabbed in the face. Yeah.
Oh, no, it's good that he's talking about it. Yes, you're going to get stabbed in the face, but it's good you do it anyway.
Yeah, I agree.
This country. And so our politicians have not been listening. They've been importing Mohammedans for a long, long time. Don't know what the reason behind that is, but I can see that there are Christians who are being persecuted.
Dude. Hey, he just said, I'm not going to call them Muslims. I'm like, what are you going to call them? And then he went with Mohammedans.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Nigeria, Artsakh, Armenia, China, even all across the world, Christians are being persecuted, but they're not being helped to come to Britain. So if the politicians think, yeah, we need more immigrants for whatever reason, be it GDP, jobs, whatever reason they give, at least they could have been importing people with our values, but they haven't.
This is a very good point, and it's actually not a very difficult point. It's actually a point that should come up very quickly in such a discussion. In Europe, for a long time now. So the immigrant waves started, I don't know, half a century ago, because of this whole idea that that the that the European people are not participating well enough in the workforce in sectors that where they are needed, which is why it would be beneficial to import workers from less developed countries so that they can come and do these jobs that the native Europeans aren't doing, because that would be needed in order to save the economy. It's still a defense that is being presented today. I know about this very, very well from Germany's history, where they were calling them guest workers, which is very funny thinking about today.
Gastarbeiter.
Yeah, Gastarbeiter. They were calling them Gastarbeiter, guest workers, because the idea was, oh, they will just come over and they will work here for a little bit, and then they will make money, and they will also help our economy rise, and then they'll just go back. Yeah. How did that work out for you? They decided to stay. They didn't want to go back because life is much better here. Why would they want to go back? But if they're going to do that, why not do that with people who actually fit in and who actually share the values? And I understand. If the whole guest worker thing was never a thing, then maybe my family would have never gone to Germany, and I would have never become the person that I am right now. I would probably have become some guy who has sex with donkeys in a village in Turkey or something. I don't know, but
you'd be on time for that, huh?
But it's a sacrifice that I can take if you're going to prevent the complete decline of civilization. However, this is what they ended up with, just inviting everyone over, and that's it.
There are additional difficulties with this. I've heard from people. I forget where it's from. I don't remember if it was Egypt or someplace in northern Africa. But someone was telling me that country X will say, we're going to take in this number of immigrants, and so you would think, oh, well, there are Christians who are persecuted in this place. Why don't the Christians just get out of there and go to this country? But you have to go to your government agent who's a Muslim to decides whether you are put on the list, and he says no, you're not. They want to keep the Christians trapped there. They don't want to send their Christians out, and so they send Muslims, and so it's a situation where, like, the country can't say, hey, just send us Christians from your country. They just say, hey, we'll take 1,000 people, and then they get Muslims.
Can't believe all the racist stuff that I'm hearing tonight, but whatever.
Welcome to the AP show.
Oh, yeah. Narita, did you want to say something?
No, I will be here forever if I go into immigration and the UK's problems. But yeah, you guys, he summed it up very well.
Okay. You can still add to it if you want to.
No, it's just exactly that. That's the problem that we're facing, is that whether you talk about migration, like, even if you, like, let's just talk about illegal migration, for example. England has, especially like recently, since Tony Blair's time onwards, they've taken this approach that England is this, like, humanitarian country, that we do have these values and we should let people in and we should offer people refuge. But no thought was given to, hang on a second, are these people going to actually be able to assimilate, and what do we have in place to allow them to assimilate? So that's why I think I've mentioned it before in a couple of my posts, that the assimilation project, if you will, for lack of a better word, in the UK has ostensibly failed. That's why we've got these no-go zones, and this is what he refers to. And that's why I used to think that people like Tommy were just alarmists, and they would, kind of just, it was coming from a place of racism, even though you can't be racist to Muslims. But I did think it was this narrative because, there's the great replacement theory and all of these things at play, but you genuinely do see what happens when people don't share your values. And we've got to a point now where we're allowing illegal immigrants in who are claiming to be, let's say, between 18 and 25, let's say young Afghan guys who definitely aren't that age. And then they come and then they bring, obviously not just one family, but let's say multiple wives over, and they can come here as dependents. And if you look at the rates right now, I think it's, don't quote me on this, but it's roughly about 70% of Muslim women in Britain are on benefits and they don't work. and that's the taxpayers' money going to facilitate essentially the extension of Muslim families coming from there. So they're never going to join you in the pub for a pint. They're never going to come to your, whatever you've got going on like they want their Ramadan lights, they want their Muslim councils, they want all of this. So the whole foundation of your society gets messed up. And I know what he's saying is true as well, completely.
This is it's something that really, I mean, it's one of the biggest obstacles there is, just saying, hey, Islam is in a different category from other things, and we have a problem with some of the things that Islam teaches, because if you can't say, hey, the immigrants were taken in, we can't just have all people who believe in these believe in things like honor killings and so on. But hey, Tommy was pointing out as an issue. This is another area where this creeps in. In prison, the prison system, the UK prison system, you have Islam basically functions as a big gang, and you got all these young offenders going in there, and they have to convert to Islam, or they're going to get the crap beat out of them on a daily basis by the Muslim group. So they have to convert to Islam and get brought into the Muslim community as a means of protection. And then the people interviewing Tommy were legitimately confused, and they're like, well, what can we possibly do about it? He says, separate them. Separate the prison population. Muslims over here, non-Muslims over here. Then they can't do that to them. But you can't, for some reason, you can't. It's the same thing with the immigration. You can't say, we've got issues where we're paying special attention to Islam, and we need to prevent Islam from doing certain things that it does. But I mean, think about it. It's like a completely obvious solution to a problem. Hey, we've got a problem. Muslims forcibly converting inmates, and then radicalizing them. What can we possibly do about that to stop that? What are we going to do? There's a bunch of Muslims in there, and then we put these guys in there. What are we going to do? What can we possibly do? Well, it's pretty straightforward. This prison is for, you got Muslims over here, and you keep the non-Muslims over here. But you can't do that, because that would be bigoted towards Islam somehow.
Islamophobic as well. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And David, last thing as well, what you said about the prison thing, you can also apply that to like what we're facing here with genuine asylum seekers. So genuine asylum seekers, let's say an apostate or an ex-Muslim or somebody who's gay, and they're not safe under Sharia. They come here looking for genuine protection, and they're going through the process through the complete right means. Now they are being housed in the exact same vicinity as somebody who is rocked up from a Sharia abiding country, who fully believes in those exact laws of the country that they came from. And now this person who has come here like seeking humanitarian assistance is surrounded by the exact same thing they fled from. So they're not safeguarded, they're not protected either. And again, we've got nothing to safeguard them in that sense because of how it would look. So yeah, it causes problems all around.
I just checked, by the way. You are right on the 70%. It is based on
I said, don't quote me, and you quoted me. I love that.
Yeah, it is based on a 2007 study, but it does say that among Muslim women, almost 70% are out of employment, compared with 27%. But another source also talks about the benefits aspect. This is an interesting thing to look into. Huh.
And we've pointed it out before that I heard Muslims pointing this out back in the day, that even though Islam allows polygamy, it's difficult for your average Muslim to get multiple wives in the Muslim world. Rich people can do it, but your average Muslim has a problem getting multiple wives, because he has to be able to provide for all of these wives and their children and so on. And he has to maintain multiple homes and stuff, and it's just extremely difficult. But it's understood, guys, if you can just get to a European country, then all of a sudden the state will subsidize your polygamy, because you get your Islamic marriages in the mosque. The government has no record of them. It's not in front of the government. You have your multiple wives, but it's just you get your marriages in the mosque. And as far as the government is concerned, all your wives are single mothers, and so they all get paid for. So if you can so this is the message in Muslim countries: if you can just get to Europe, then you can get more wives. Then you can get more wives, have more kids, and so on. And the government will pay for all of it.
Beast. All right.
Very
Sanke said, how dare AP disrespect Nuria like this? Stop making her speak and give her a whiteboard already. Please be more considerate. Nuria, are you aware of that?
I
Of
don't
the
get
Ali
this
Dawa?
whiteboard joke. No.
Haven't
Oh
you seen the
boy.
Ali Dawa video where Ali Dawa is making his wife communicate through a whiteboard?
Oh my God. No.
You haven't seen that?
Yeah,
No, no,
she's
no. That's
she's full burqa, hands covered, everything, and then he's Ali Dawa's like, and you got my wife here so that she can contribute to the show as well, and then we'll be a couple and we be responding to these things, and then so they make videos about topics, and yeah, his wife is writing stuff on a
Right here. Let's
on
just
a
Oh
whiteboard.
my God, you guys aren't even joking. Oh my God.
People, inshallah.
Shake hands.
She's going to have her say with this whiteboard that I bought her. But why is the default that the woman is innocent and the man is always guilty? Okay, that's something my wife wants to say. Salama probably had enough as women give a lot of chances, has zero tolerance now. Okay, this is why I want you here. Yeah, it's very important for you to be here.
I have to compliment you. Those is big words for a 6-year-old.
Oh my God.
So bizarre, isn't it?
I am shook. This is wild.
You haven't
She has
seen
the
this?
no, and she's got the gloves and she's passing it. Wow, dude, this is insane.
Of their father or ex-husband, etc., and project it on other people. So, okay, she's saying she made the video, not him. I don't know his opinion. Well, exactly. There you go. Okay, there's nothing.
It's so ridiculous.
This is like something out of Handmaid's Tale or something. What is going on?
Yeah, just here it is reality. Yeah.
They're sitting in 2024 Britain.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And here
Shaitan and myself, anything good is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If there's anything you disagree on, no. Okay. Are you under any duress? You can blink twice.
We wouldn't know, mate. We wouldn't know if she blinked twice. How would we know? You mean you can blink twice? I can't see anything.
That's exactly what I said when I saw this part. It's almost like he's mocking her here.
Literally.
Yeah, and with him, this is like, you can't help but think it's like a status symbol in Islam. Look how much I've got my wife in check. Look at me. All you other losers out there, come on. Look how I maintain my household here.
This is hella
She probably blinked, but we will never know. You know?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh from myself and my dear wife. May Allah bless you for your contributions. It's a pleasure and an honor.
It's so ridiculous.
Oh my God. I'm going to take some time to process that. And I think I need to do a video because I've got so many emotions going on within me, but this is not the time or place. What the actual, oh my God.
David did a good job highlighting this. It got 14 million views here on Twitter.
Oh, nice one, David. What the hell? I'm gonna read every comment after this.
Israel Advocacy Movement said the most surprising thing about this video is that Ali Dawa can actually read. So.
Look at our comments there. You put, if you're under duress, blink twice, and I said, if your smiles to Jenna, blink twice. Oh boy.
Oh yeah. If you're actually smiles to Jenna, wink once.
Oh, wink once. That's right.
Man, it's so ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, so this is what we're joking about when we speak of the whiteboard. This is their standard. It's unbelievable, but it's real. Totally real. That's what they do.
That's what they do.
Urinating upon one another. That's what they do.
Yeah. Nuria just looks shocked right now.
It is great. Just so you know, Nuria, if you wanted to make a video about it, you'd have to look around for it. But Sneeko
Wait a
on
minute, she's frozen.
Uh-oh.
Okay, she's frozen.
She was so shocked, her internet shut down.
Yeah, she couldn't take it anymore. Yeah. She looked genuinely concerned. Man.
People who are hostile to our values, people who hate us and hate our way of life, which we can speculate all day on as to why, but we've seen the fruits of that. We've seen that young, white, British, working class girls are being raped, abused, and even sometimes killed because they're not seen as as an ordinary human to these people. In their culture, it's acceptable.
Straight out the Quran.
Muslim rape gangs have been covered up by the establishment for far too long, from every level, from the local councillors to parliamentarians to the police forces. It's been covered up every way from the councillors. And why? For the sake of diversity, inclusion, and equality. And I think it's time we said, actually, we don't want to be diverse. To be diverse means to remove something to replace it with something else. We don't want to remove Christianity. We don't want to remove Britishness or Englishness to replace it with a foreign hostile ideology. We don't want to be inclusive of everything. Not all ideas are equal. We live in a society and we have to contribute to that society. Men contribute in different ways to women, but all
Nuria said she has an internet problem, but she'll be right back.
of us contribute together to building this kingdom that we live in. And that needs to be recognized again. We need to ignore the people who are saying that men and women are the same, because men and women have different gifts. We need to ignore the people who are saying that every culture is the same, because every culture is different. And some
Whoa! What is this? Is a racist? Every culture is exactly the same.
are better than others. And of course, we need to get back to that recognition of diversity, inclusion, and equality is harmful for our country. Let's rip that out, rip out wokeness, rip out Islam.
Look how violent he is. He's talking about ripping out things.
Put Christianity back at the forefront. Let's remind ourselves who we are as a people. We're a Christian people. We believe in the Christian God. We believe in faith, hope, and love. We believe that Jesus Christ died.
Look at this. He's forcing people to believe in things.
Hey, it's pretty funny. It's pretty funny that you've got this not quite atheist anymore AP sitting here playing this guy's entire message, preaching about returning to Jesus on your live stream.
I shared the whole thing, man. I shared Tommy's whole stream with everyone.
Yeah, but you're focusing on this guy. It's like you're sending everyone a message. You're a secret undercover Christian.
I like this guy. I like this guy, especially after he called Islamic cult and said it was founded by a warmongering pedophile.
Probably under the influence of demons.
How can I not love this guy?
I did like him better with his hair. If he had said that with his hair, that would have been like automatic legend status.
For us, because we are sinners, and he died for that reason to offer us, and he rose again to offer us eternal salvation, that we might live forever in him. That is a wonderful blessing, a wonderful gift that he presents to us, and we are the ones who have to accept it.
Amen.
By saying amen, AP, you just converted. So,
and to do that, to repent of our sins, we need to repent of all this for the last 20 years, this mass immigration, this mass importing of people that hate us, this self-hatred that a lot of people in this country have at the moment. We need to repent of all of that, and we need to reclaim our Christian nation for once and for all. So thank you to everyone who's gathered today. Thank you to everyone who's helped organize it. And I hope there's another one soon. And I can't wait to be with you all. God bless you. And let's put Christ back in our hearts, back in the heart.
Wow. That's crazy. That's actually in the video.
Yeah, this is what he played in the thing.
That's crazy, because I mean you've got
a giant screen during the rally. So this is, they showed this here on the feed, but they played it on the screen during the rally.
That is, I don't know. That's interesting stuff. I have to. It's easy to miss the trajectory. Yeah. See, that's what I'm saying. That hair rocks. Yeah. I had hair like that once. No, hey, dude, I actually did. I was in jail, and in jail, there are guys who. There are guys in jail who do other people's like hair, like they'll give guys braids and dreadlocks and stuff like this. And they do each other's hair before they go to a visit. But every once in a while, you'll have like an actual like guy who works in a hair salon locked up, and then everyone wants him to train him, but then they want to practice. So it's almost like a beauty school in jail, and everyone's like practicing on hair and stuff like that. Because some guys will like do that when they get out, or some guys know they're going to be locked up for a while, so they want a little side trade and stuff like that. Anyway, one day this guy goes, "Hey, I want to try braiding a white guy's hair." I'm like, okay, I'm bored as crap, so go ahead. So anyway, but he's like, "Your hair doesn't stick together right," because it didn't stick together right because it's super straight and stuff like that. It doesn't stick together right. So he started loading my hair up with all kinds of gel to make the braids hold together or something like this. And then he did all these braids, and I looked like a stupid white Coolio and stuff. So I looked like an idiot. But then I took the braids out, and all of a sudden I had a fro because all the gel and it was all wound up. All of a sudden I had this fro exactly like that. And it was, I don't know, I was feeling pretty cool rocking that thing for about an hour.
Beast. In other news,
Hey, no, side note on the trajectory. Before you distracted me with that jail story.
Yes.
The trajectory. Back when it was like a guy like Tommy saying that Muhammad's a pedophile and stuff like that. Easy to marginalize a guy like that. If it's becoming acceptable to where people like other people and in people in completely different stratas of society and so on are all just calling Muhammad a pedophile and stuff like that. I think Islam's in trouble, sport. I think Islam's in trouble.
I'm kind of a little bit uncomfortable with this whole situation, so I just did my part and tweeted opposing pedophilia is Islamophobic.
Finally, someone said it.
I hope I can talk a little bit reason into people here, because it's very, very troubling what I'm seeing. Anyway, let's see.
Come on, Calvin Robinson.
Only two genders, male and female. That you now
Leeds football hooligans in London.
Do you hear this only on one side of your?
No.
You hear some? Does it sound good? Does it sound all right?
It's a little quiet what Tommy's saying right there, but
okay.
Go ahead.
My voice. Thank you. But Elon Musk hasn't just given me a voice. Citizen journalism is the answer to the corrupt media. Okay? I'm going to ask people to come up now. As they come up, let's start with the Voice of Wales. Voice of Wales, come here. Down and stand. Come in. Where's the Lord coming?
There she is. Nuria, what's up? We thought you'd
Sorry, had some internet issues.
So shaken by the whiteboard thing.
She went to rent. She ran to get a whiteboard to communicate with us, and
I went even more old school. I got a chalkboard. I just ordered a chalkboard.
Hey, that should be the video mocking it. Be like, oh, what is this Ali Dawa and his super progressive Islam using a whiteboard? No, we will use a chalkboard, and then have to go back to like the different Muslims who are viewing this stuff have to go back further and further until one's like using a little chisel and making hieroglyphics or something like that.
David, even better on animal skin. You know, like they used to write the Quran, bits of animal skin and whatever they could find, some hide.
Doing like cave paintings and stuff.
Yeah. Eventually, we'll just go back to making noises like.
Tell people who you are and where they can follow you.
Okay, so these are some people, Voice of Wales, I guess. And by Wales, I'm talking about the country, not the animal.
Thanks for the clarification, Ify.
You're welcome.
Welcome, proud.
If you don't follow me, I don't care. But I report what goes on out there on the streets.
I actually found Meyer's speech funny. Oh, here's Carl Benjamin.
His name is Sargon.
Sargon? It's Sargon, innit? Who are these people? Who is this? This guy's from Iran.
Hey, Russell Brand.
2.0.
I'm a freedom fighter, actually. You can find me in police station cell. Thank you so much for standing with Tommy Robinson today. Actually, you're standing for your country, for your future. We Iranians, when we have some people.
That is a good joke. I'm not. I wonder if he actually thought about that for a while, or if he just came up with that there. You can find me in police station.
Like Tommy Robinson in 1979, we never lost our country, and Islamism never come to power. Thank you, and never forget, if you stay silent, you don't have a place to run away. We have place like UK, you know, we coming here in UK and we you give us opportunity to live and in a freedom country, but they use freedom against you, British patriot. Just never forget, never give them opportunity to use these things against you. Thank you so much.
I find it interesting that there were several people, several Iranians, Iranian anti-regime activist people speaking here at this rally and appearing in the video that he played, coming on stage and speaking. It wasn't just one person or two people, or Mahi Artusi, or just a handful of people who collaborated. It was there were several people that took part here, and it's kind of interesting and amazing to see these Iranian anti-Islamist regime activists come into the scene and join these people, join these patriotic people in the UK in their fight against this the Islamic influence.
It's also extremely important, and it's similar with UAP in that if people see me railing against Islam, there are lots of people who've just been trained to think, oh, this must be a white racist. They can't say the same thing about a guy who came from Turkey. Just like, they'll look at Tommy and say, hey, racist. Okay, what do you say about this other guy? What are you going to say about this other guy who's saying the same thing? So that's one issue. The other issue is kind of like, isn't it refreshing when you see people who come from a different place and they're like filled with gratitude? Like, yeah, I love this place. Please do not let this place be destroyed. This is the place we ran to get away from the other place. And please do not let what happened to the other place happen here, because then where am I going to run? Where am I going to run? Good stuff.
Yeah, and just on like AP's point there as well, like I think it's so heartwarming to see. But like I've been on a lot of like these English Twitter spaces about Tommy's demonstration and just the whole political situation in the UK, and more I see the kind of like, let's say, the like Iranians or young Iranians who are just sick of the Iranian, like the regime, and they're just, and even like I think Armin Noabi is going to cover this tomorrow, but there was Islamists who attacked Iranian dissidents, obviously because they don't want anyone criticizing the regime, obviously. But what we saw here were flags from the Iranian Pahlavi flag, and flags that are not related to the regime. But there is this sense of like impending doom that the Iranians can sense, and they're trying to warn Brits, and they're saying, guys, listen to what we've been through and learn from the example of our country, because that is exactly what is playing out here in the UK right now, but also like more like on a wider level in Europe as well. But it is literally that exact marriage between these hardcore lefties and Islam, and them getting into bed together in order to cause this destruction. And the Iranians have, like you said, David, they've escaped from that. And what they thought they would experience here in the UK, I heard one Iranian man today saying that I came to the UK, and now, honestly, by being here and by being in London, I've experienced a stricter form or sense of Islam than I even did back in Iran. I worry for this country. Like the Islam here that I experience is almost like more on an ISIS kind of level of extremism that youngsters have, or the way I feel in certain areas, even worse than back home. And again, just a warning message to all the English people. And now they're trying to say, can we get your voices heard in Parliament, or can we get your voices taken? Even I'm not sure, the king doesn't really have much of an impact, but these Iranians were begging to have their voices go to the king, because that's how much they care about their example, what they've lived through, what they've run from, and what they're seeing play out here. So yeah, I think this alliance and hearing from their lived experience is really important for the West to learn from.
This is so funny. I didn't know much about this guy. I didn't know who he is. D just posted his name in the chat, and I heard it during the rally as well, but I couldn't really make it out. So I looked him up, and we actually follow each other on on Twitter, and I didn't even know that this is that guy. So that's quite funny.
You
Oh my God, yeah, I just followed him today too.
That's quite
Yeah,
fun.
somebody said his arrest made him famous, so that's amazing. No wonder he started with the police.
He had that thing, that sign that said Hamas is terrorist, or Hamas is a terrorist organization. I think that's him.
Yes, you could be right. Yeah.
Look him up, man. Search for his name.
And arrest, maybe.
All right, hold up. I have to look this up now. I have to look this up now. What the heck?
But yeah, so again, they are on the ground level telling like Brits to wake up to what's happening here. And it's good that Tommy, I'm really grateful as well that Tommy is like, again, this is why the racist label just won't stick on him, because look at the people he's getting to speak, look at the allies he's taking on for this cause as well. I can also personally say, like, he asked me to talk on this as well. I've met him. I did not for a second feel like there was a racist bone in his body. In fact, he was like telling me more personal stories. His best friends are 2 Afghan twins there, and I felt so bad in that moment, because obviously I had like these horrible views towards him, and I was like, you are the opposite of everything I've ever thought. But yeah, people like, we've got Iranians, you've got a black guy, you've got people like me from a British Pakistani background, AP. If we're all saying, hey, what he's saying isn't that wrong when it comes to Islam, we should support him for what he's doing. For me, it's more of a personal level now, because I've never really felt that patriotic. But today, seeing things play out, hearing those speeches, seeing what's happening, being part of this, Tommy is getting that, you know, that kind of feeling riled up in everybody that, no, this is a country we need to be proud of and defend. Even if it's just a case of, is this us choosing British values over Islamicization and Sharia? Absolutely it is.
Yeah. It's very racist, but still, yeah, it's good.
Leave it! Leave it!
Get down.
Leave it! Leave it! To the floor, 1, 2. Leave it! Hey! Why? What do you do? Oh! Woo!
That's that dude?
Yeah.
Yeah, I searched for his name. Article on a Jewish news site popped up. He said Nihat Gorbani, an Iranian dissident, has spent months standing with the Jewish community against these hateful protests, making headlines on social media and media for his now infamous signs stating Hamas are terrorists, despite being assaulted repeatedly by anti-Israel demonstrators. Gorbani has refused to give up, showing up to every protest with his sign and proudly standing against the pro-Hamas demonstrators.
So what happened here is that he was carrying a sign that merely said Hamas is a terrorist organization,
which is true,
and do not attack the law. Hamas is a terrorist organization. He was then assaulted by pro-Palestine activists, and upon being assaulted by them, he was then arrested by the police.
Doesn't this remind you of what just happened? And you talked about what a perfect example of it, where you've got a guy stabbing people and the police go after like a guy who's getting stabbed, and then the police officer gets stabbed.
That's exactly the state of the police in the UK, like specifically the Metropolitan Police. That this has been going on for so long. Like I'm sure AP and David, I'm sure you also saw that video of that man shouting she was 9 years old. That legend of a man, yeah. And like literally because the Muslims outnumber him, and this is what was happening in the pro-Palestine protests as well. They were saying we're outnumbered. We don't have the resources to handle these guys, so we're gonna have to keep a check on you.
Them. Yeah, it's the same thing with Hatoun. When Hatoun would be at Speaker's Corner, would be surrounded by 50 Muslims screaming. They arrest her. They arrest her, even though she's literally standing there in a crowd. But it's, hey, you're upsetting the crowd, so we have to get rid of you.
Yeah.
Called the heckler's veto in the U.S. I don't know what the situation is in the UK. In the U.S., it's illegal. You can't go after the speaker based on the reaction of the crowd.
Yeah.
Look to us, the Iranians, the Christian Syrians,
another Iranian,
the Christian Egyptians. We are the canary down the minefield of what could happen.
Oh yeah, this is I didn't want to say anything. Dee pointed out the 9-year-old guy was a big disappointment. Yeah, we did eventually. He eventually got in touch with us, Nuria, the guy who said she was 9 years old, and he
really hates Jews. Let's say that.
Oh,
yeah,
sugar. Okay.
Yeah, he actually had this whole plot of getting live here on my channel to then talk about how all of this is actually the work of the Jews, and the Jews cause all of these problems in the world and things like that, which I was informed about. And then I said, okay, no, I'm not getting the guy on. I'm done with it. Then he went on another small, tiny channel and talked about how David and I are sympathizers of the Jews and paid by Israel, probably, and stuff like that. It's a big disappointment. Yeah.
It was
Big
so weird
disappointment.
because I was the same way, Neri. I was like, this guy is legend. This like that one thing. I operate on like a cool point system. Like this guy he got like 1 million cool points for
Street
that.
cred.
He was 9 years old, and then even in his responses, it was the perfect move. It was so perfect. And then massive letdown. Oh, but I wouldn't mind talking to the guy and like figuring out, because some people can change their minds over time. But be interested.
Well, if you ever do, David, good luck in changing his mind. But I'd rather not. But I take away my legend comment about this man because I was not aware of that information. Jesus.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. Pretty bad. Let's see, what is this? So here's the sign that he was holding up. Don't attack the law. Hamas is terrorist.
Oh, he's right in the middle of them. Look at that. Dang. He rolls right up in the middle of them.
What the hell? You can see it right here. The police is coming in and tackling the guy immediately. Wow, man.
Look, and you see police police are rushing in from every direction. This man has accused Hamas of being terrorist. Get him.
This is so ridiculous. This makes me genuinely angry, man. What? This guy is his sign literally says, "Do not attack the law. Hamas is terrorist," and he's attacked. And his sign, which is merely pointing out facts that are actually in line with UK law, is being taken away from him by force. He's being pushed around simply for having that sign up. He's not even provoking people, really. And the police comes in, and the first thing they do is to tackle him and to brutally arrest him and eventually put him on the ground. Man.
And AP, this is Sadiq Khan, like honestly enabling this like week and week and week, because he has these conversations with Mark Rowley. They discuss the protests that are to be had, but and it took Suella Braverman to bring in this term of two-tier policing for people to realize actually, that's what we need to call it, because that's what's happening here. Because you'd look at the number of arrests that would take place in pro-Palestine protests versus in just let's say anti-Semitic protests that were happening, like anti-Semitic protests, and it was just so one-sided. And then when you see the Met Police and the way they behave, usually it's the crowds and the mob mentality that large numbers of Muslims employ. They even use that against the police. So if the police was to arrest one of their guys in a pro-Palestine rally, then let's say 10-12 men would crowd around that one officer and literally completely harass him to let that man go, video him, film him, get all up in his face to the point where he has to release that guy, and then that guy goes back into the crowd, and then they get even more kind of jeered on. So it is this mob mentality that they actually think power in numbers, that we can even overpower the police. And then Sadiq Khan is on our side anyway, so he's going to call this peaceful and resistance and all of that jazz.
This is so bizarre, so ridiculously bizarre. I'm just thinking of I experienced a country like Turkey, for example, where you can't be critical of what Turkey stands for, or what the government preaches and believes in, and the police will attack you if you go against that. And I thought, wow, that's really, really bad. And then you look at the UK, which is the opposite, where if you stand up for the country, for the values of this country, for the law, the police comes and attacks you and throws you on the ground and brutally arrests you. What in the world is this, man? This is so stupid, so ridiculously stupid. What people have let the situation come to.
There is a silver lining in that. When the more people see that, the more people realize how screwed up things are. And you can't again, it's a situation where if that had been Tommy Robinson up in the middle of the crowd, people are so already hostile towards him. If they've been believing the media and so on, they'd say, he deserves it for being a troublemaker. You got a completely different guy there. And then it's, wait a minute, he's just saying Hamas are terrorists and they're beating him up, and then police come and finish the job. What the heck?
Yes, I want to watch this part as well. But before
George
we
Clooney?
continue, yes, it's George Clooney. It's an Iranian George Clooney. But before we continue, I want to read some super chat. The Jew who believes in Ezra said, "Have no fear. Here comes Uzair."
Have no fear. Here comes Uzair.
Yeah, we found the one Jew who actually believes in Ezra.
The Quran is true.
That's what I said. That was my reaction when I first saw that account.
Mr. Mag, I can't believe you made AP wait, you monsters. I know, right? This is what I'm dealing with every day. Sheikh Mike Wingling said, I'm making the super chat while Aisha is 6. By the time AP reads it, she'll be 9 already. Alhamdulillah.
True.
That's how it works. This is a miracle. Krezier said, Shalom. Thank you so much, Krezier. And shalom to you as well. David is looking like, how can you read that?
AP is so smart.
Ayatollah Khamenei says, AP, we all know who you would go hang out with if you had a time machine. Germany.
German flag. That's true.
Not wrong, yeah. PBUM says, just mentioned London Stan yesterday. They might hurt us, although not a fan of Robinson. You guys think it is too late for UK to still have a chance? Well,
one of us does.
Well, I do believe that it still has a chance. It's just how you define a chance, and a chance for what? A chance for what? Because I believe that, I don't think that the UK will actually eventually turn into an Islamic country and will be called UC, which stands for United Caliphate. I do, however, think that it's quite plausible that in some future there will be some separatist movement within the UK. I don't know, maybe around London, of people trying to establish, an Islamic entity or something like that. Totally possible. I would say that we are past the point of resolving this peacefully, but that's just what it looks like to me. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I seriously think Islam is so weak. I think it's imploding in the Muslim world. I think they're kind of thumping their chests right now because they're in panic mode over the avalanche of apostasy. I think that if they don't get their way in Gaza and actually Israel completely wipes out Hamas and all the tantrums didn't do anything. We've seen before. We've seen the actual polls where Muslims are asked what causes them to doubt Islam. The number one thing was moral problems with Muhammad, but also high up on that list was the weakness of the ummah. Why is everyone else so much stronger than us? The more examples they see of that, is, wait, there's 2 billion of us. We've got the final revelation, the final prophet. We've got it all. We've got it. We've got the final revelation, the final prophet, the true religion. Why are we so freaking weak if this is all true? Yeah, I don't know. I think the avalanche is going to accelerate in the near future.
Quiet, man.
Nuria, anything you want to add?
Yeah, I want to put a bit of a positive spin on it, and I think it's not too late for the UK. I think there's definitely a chance. I think today gave me a lot of hope about what we can do, and I think the thing with the British is you can try and take them for a ride, and you can take advantage of their humanitarian principles and all of this stuff that's been happening for the last 2 decades, but there is a limit. And I think what someone like Tommy Robinson has done is he has awoken that spirit of enough is enough, because silently we've been watching people do mass exoduses out of certain areas. We've had de facto like no-go zones, all of these things. The landscape has changed and we've all been quiet about it up until now. We've just thought this is part of multiculturalism and this is part of diversity, and this is what it is. London is a melting pot, or the UK is a cosmopolitan enough country, whatever. But no, there is a whole issue here of your culture being eroded, your values being eroded, people demanding that you bend over backwards to suit their narrative and their sensibilities. Like the Batley grammar school teacher that was had to go in hiding. People are now like, actually nothing was done about that. He's still in hiding. MPs have barely raised their voices for him. So I think, yeah, we can throw around words like Londonistan, and things have gotten bad. They've gotten really bad. But I think we are at the precipice where if we act now, with the general elections coming up as well, people are like, shit, I actually need to vote because it will matter. You see what these independents are doing. Independent Muslims are running. I think earlier, David, you said, who would take Dili Hussein seriously? There are literally Dili Hussein type men running all over the country for a position in parliament, so that he is like not just an isolated kind of guy. He is like the mainstream British Asian Muslim narrative, and they're trying to infiltrate politics. But people are like, hang on a second, we can see what's happening now. So I think there's hope if things like today continue and we keep talking. And that's why AP, David, as well, thank you for having a convo on this, because yeah, the UK is looking at the rest of Europe and also trying to like set an example for itself that it's time for a change.
Yeah. This is good. There's a positive spin. I think we have to have Nuria on here more often, because otherwise it's just all depressing. Where I'm kind of trying to say, it's going to be a little bit bad, and David is like, no, there's no hope. It's over. Where
AP's always like, everyone go build a bunker in the middle of Montana and be safe and just weather the storm there and so on. Hey, what Nuria just pointed out as far as like this whole situation giving her hope. I mean, how many people in the UK do you think just had that exact same reaction? Like, I was thinking it was looking pretty dark, but I don't know. This is looking pretty good right here.
Yeah. That's pretty good. Uralic Tribe said Mohammed may CPS and police be upon him, said that camel liquid waste is apparently healthy for you. Bruh. P.S. People are trying to confront Hamza from Hamza's den, but he keeps running away. Well, joke's on you, Uralic Tribes, because I drink camel urine every day and it keeps me very healthy. When it comes to Hamza from Hamza's den,
there's a video where Chris from Speaker's Corner walked up to him and was very polite and said, hey, I'd like to have a debate. You're here all the time. Let's go ahead and have a debate. And he agreed to him to have a debate. And then later on, Chris showed up and said, hey, let's go ahead and have that debate. And he's like, no, I don't like your topic or something. And then Chris said, okay, you could pick any topic you want. We'll debate it. And he starts going, no, I don't reward your bad behavior. Your bad behavior.
It's terrible.
It's like pure cowardice. Chris literally offered him any topic. Pick a topic, I'll debate you on it. That is a dream situation.
But Hamza is like,
you're hiding, boy. You're hiding.
Yeah. Ayatollah Khamenei said, AP insulting American football. AP, what is the national sport of Turkey again? I already mentioned donkeys. Are you not paying attention?
We have our national sport. It's called Rally Round the Donkey.
Nate Lawrence said, I think this clip has potential to be a classic reference on your channel. Search for We're Just Normal Men, We're Just Innocent Men, Lauren and Hacker full clip. I will look it up. I'm kind of scared though. Knows Too Much said, Islam death cult of the pedos, by the pedos, for the pedos. But these pedos are, this is a good spin on, what's the name again? Osho, yeah.
We need that. I'm stealing that.
Yeah. Nuri needs to find out about all those memes. There's a clip by this guy Osho about democracy.
Okay. I think ignorance might be bliss.
Is the government of the people, by the people, for the people. But the people are retarded. So it's government of the retarded, by the retarded, For the retarded. Now just imagine that, but with like 20-second pauses between everything.
Oh, show. Nicholas Wheeler said, "Hey guys, sorry I'm late. Hope I didn't miss anything good. Make sure you're on time next time." Nicholas, I'm writing everything down. Render unto Caesar said, "Nuria, what's your favorite British food?" Mine is chana masala. Chana masala. How do you say that? What is it?
Yeah, chana masala. That's not
Oh,
even British. That's
yeah.
that's the Indian. So
I think
yeah, I
it's
think
a-
he's being sarcastic because
Yeah,
the national food of England of Britain is chicken tikka masala. So
Oh.
it's like an Indian curry, but like made for the British palate. So like not spicy, really watered down, almost sweet, but not. But favorite British food has got to be, if it's done well, which a lot of pubs have disappointed me lately, but when it's done well from a carvery, a good Sunday roast, like the roast lamb, roast beef, roast
Yeah,
potatoes,
everything is
veggies,
meat and potatoes there.
Yorkshire
Or fish and
pudding,
chips.
all the trimmings. Yeah.
There was a movie. It was called A Fish Called Wanda, and an American guy who really hated the British. At the end, he holds up a French fry and he goes, "The English contribution to world cuisine, the chip." That was pretty bang on there.
Nice. Knows too much at leftists. We're against imperialism and colonialism. Also leftists. We're pro-genocidal Islamic imperialism and colonialism in the land of Israel and the West. That's true. That's how it goes. Very, very much. Venus Envy says, "Hi, AP and David Wood. Can you do a segment where you look into Rafah in Egypt? The whole city was bulldozed years ago. Still, as far as I know. You can see on Google Maps, done for security reasons." I mean, I could look into that. Not sure if it's yeah, we'll look into it. We'll inform myself. Big Zaman said, "Tommy Wiseau did a great job today." Oh, hi, Nuria. Tommy Wiseau is the guy who made that movie, The Room. Matt Silva, "This is beautiful. Hooliganism against pedophiles and liars." Alan, who the F is Alan? Exactly. GoTop Music said, "AP's tabs are genocide on his computer." I know, I always have like 5,000 tabs open whenever I'm on my computer. Ayatollah Khamenei said, "AP tabs exposed goat sales near me." I closed that before I went live, actually. Mary Mac, ex-Muslim evangelist David Chand hosted a mass 2 weeks ago in London. It's on YouTube. We're protecting our ability to do that as well. Next to March 27th of July. Good to know. Ex-Muslim evangelist David
That's the
Chand.
27th. There's a thing on the 27th of July that we keep bringing up.
Yes. Knows too much at leftists would event minorities also 1.6 billion Muslim with 50 plus countries. Persecuted minority. They can persecute minorities and molest minors all they want. This is the blindness and the stupidity of people of leftist people in the West, where they decide what a minority and what a majority is based on demographics in the West without taking the rest of the world actually into consideration. Because in the Muslim world, the oppressors are not the ones who are minorities in your country. Well, the oppressors are the ones who are whatever, I messed it up. Jacob N says, "Iranians are more pro-Israel than others, though they still sympathize with Palestinians. They are pro-Israel just to spite their leaders." I think it's more than that. There's a lot of pro-Israel and anti-pro-Palestine movement stuff going on in Iran among the secular population. They don't like the whole Palestine deal. Cars in depth, wars in Hamtramck in Michigan last week. It was almost 100% Polish. Now there are bearded men in jolibas and gaggles of women in full ninja burqas. Huh. Sankey, "Why is AP smiling? Doesn't he know the moment Muslims are over 0.01% of the population, then it's totally over and it's not worth fighting?" I know, I have already given up. I'm just dealing with the situation of just making peace with the idea that we're all dead soon. That's what's happening. Dash said, "Did y'all see Bob of Speaker's Corner speech at the rally?" I have indeed seen it.
I haven't seen it yet, but I will.
You should see
I'll
it.
check it out.
Yes,
Bob is pretty based. I just looked up that clip where we're just men, we're just innocent men. That was pretty hilarious.
Yeah.
What, the French fry one?
What? No, someone said look up the clip. We're just men. We're ordinary men. It's from like some kids. It's from some kids show, and she's talking to a puppet. animal.
That's why he was. That's why
she
David was
loses.
laughing.
Oh, that yeah, I
He was
watched it.
laughing.
It's actually hilarious.
Yeah. I did see Bob's speech at the rally, which was a little bit too Christian for my taste. I don't really like Christians.
This is the
What was
most
more?
racist show I've been on, even though these are racist.
What was more Christian, Calvin's message or Bob's message?
That's a very good question. Ayatollah Khamenei, I don't know. Depends on how you define Christian. I'm totally pulling a Jordan Peterson here. It depends on how you define Christian. And what do you mean by which? What do you mean by speech? What do you mean by was? Ayatollah Khamenei said doing a Michael Jackson dance at an Islamist rally actually makes complete sense. Yeah, that would make sense. I don't know why, but still it would. Yeah. Victor Lebit, disturbing. I spoke to a Russian Orthodox colleague of mine about Jews, and he said, F their Holocaust. Us Russians lost 40 million people and nobody cared. Well, there is a distinction here to be made, which is that on the one hand, you have people dying in a war. On the other hand, you have a certain group that is being deliberately, with a carefully devised plan, eradicated, acknowledged by the Nazi regime, found in their documents, and so on, where the plan was not to eradicate the Russians. It was to fight the Russians. The plan was to eradicate the Jews entirely. In fact, Europe was drawn into different parts, where they would then estimate how many Jews live there and whether a region is free from Jews or not. And the plan was to eventually make every single part, every single corner, every single part of Europe Judenrein or Judenfrei, which means cleansed of Jews or free from Jews. This was the Nazi plan. So it's significantly more sinister, the plan that involved the Jews, compared to anything else that was going on.
The Russians made an alliance with the Nazis until the Nazis came and attacked them, and were like 50 miles outside of Moscow. The only reason the Germans didn't conquer the Soviet Union was that Italy delayed their invasion by 3 months, because the Germans had to go rescue Italy, who were getting the crap kicked out of them by Greece. And so the Germans had to go and help the Italians fight the Greeks, delayed their invasion by 3 months. And then 50 miles outside of Moscow, the Russian winter hit. And so completely different situation. You fought a war with Germany when Germany attacked you after you had an alliance.
Soviet Russia was literally working together with Nazi Germany to conquer the east of Europe until the Nazis betrayed them, which is why the war happened. So there is
not exactly the same situation with, hey, let's round up all these guys in cattle cars and take them to death camps.
Yeah. Anyway, and finally, one more super chat here before I continue. Robert Aldani said, why are the Irish politicians and civilians so damn anti-Israel? It's annoying. Why is that? I guess
it's the same thing with sorry, just my take, and I could be very wrong, but I just feel like it's that similar angle to what South Africa is trying to take. Obviously, your past history as a country, as a nation, the way that the Irish view what's happened to them with the English, they kind of transpose that situation onto the Israel-Palestine situation as an oppressor and an oppressee situation, and they obviously take the side of Palestine because they think that they can relate to that more as a country, and they've been through a similar fight to rid themselves of this oppressor, which is why I think that's the angle they're taking. Although I've spoken to a lot of Irish people within Ireland who say, look, that might be the official stance, but no, that's not my position at all. So there are voices within it, but largely it's been interesting that their foreign policy take has been very different to their neighbors. We're all standing united as a bloc. They're not.
Well, that's the explanation that I've seen, and which I also thought seems plausible, that it's all about grievances and about them considering their own role in the conflict with Britain, similar to the role of this Palestine. And that is the reason why they are having these ridiculous tendencies.
I think it's if you grow up and spend your entire life eating nothing but Lucky Charms with whiskey as milk.
David, now this is the most racist show on, okay?
I knew you were going to say something ridiculous.
Just missing like a 4-leaf clover and a leprechaun or something.
The Jews turned all our 4-leaf clovers into 3-leaf clovers, you see.
I'm actually looking at a poll right now. Let's see. The UN defines apartheid during response to war in Gaza. Irish government. Do you think Ireland should restrict trade or investment with Israel settlements built on Palestinian land? Yeah, okay. The majority is not that big actually, but 60% it seems is kind of on the pro-Palestine boat. Okay, only 20%.
Sorry to interrupt, but I think you've just hit 500K.
Really?
What? Let me see.
So.
Let me refresh.
I think so, yeah. Just people can confirm, but yeah, refresh. Check it out.
Nope, mine says $4.99.
No way.
False alarm.
Seriously, someone in the comments, I swear I saw 500K with a celebration.
Maybe in the UK because it's earlier there.
Like it could be just
real time. No, does it not update?
No, it's later there.
No, but does it not update in real time? Like if I refresh it, I'll see the same as you?
Yeah, you would. I was joking.
Okay, I was like, what the hell, David? It's not that late for you.
I think I'm a few dozen away from 500,000.
Not basic.
Which
Damn
is very
it, sorry.
Your
False
channel
alarm.
weakling. What?
Almost. See, almost.
False alarm, like Muhammad with his day of judgment.
We're almost there. If everyone quickly subscribes, everyone who's watching right now, and also tells all their relatives.
Yes, come on, peeps. Let's do this.
All your parents, your children, your siblings, friends, family, grandparents, children, grandparents, grandchildren, tell everybody about this. Extended relatives, everyone that you know, people
Sons
who
of Mutta, Misyar.
Everybody subscribe, and we will surpass 500,000 tonight, and then we will celebrate.
Even you Irish people out there who were a little upset about my joke, you could put the whiskey down for a second of your life and subscribe.
Yes, inshallah. And I did promise that when I'm at 500,000, I will jump off a plane. So we'll see about that.
Hopefully with a parachute.
I'm still thinking about what to do. Yeah.
Hello.
This is the famous Maher Tusi. He has been very, very active in the UK politics and citizen journalism scene lately, has become very, very popular, and people have been bombarding me with requests to collaborate with him. So when I went to the UK, I actually got in touch with him, and he quickly messaged me back, and I am in touch with him, and he said he wants to do something within the coming weeks online with me. And I said, yeah, let's do this. So it's in the works.
Hello. The establishment out there and the far left want people to think that this gathering is an angry group just being anti-things and complaining about things. But this event is about also getting together. Look at the crowd. Look at the Scottish flag, Welsh flags, English flag, of course Union flags, Iranian flags, Israeli flags, American flags. This is about sending a positive message, about actually fighting for our values and the British natives fighting for their identity. The problem we have is that for a long time, liberal secular society, which as a foundation is a good idea, but it's gone too far because liberal secular society can only work if you have the foundation of traditional values. And if you become complacent, you lose it. There was once a country that was free, and it was a liberal secular society until 1979, when the Islamic occupiers took over, because the people in the country were complacent. They thought they would always have freedom.
That country was Iran. Do not turn Britain into another Iran.
Well, it wouldn't be, because it'd be Sunni, not Shia.
Touche. Not that it'd be any better.
Good point. Mahir Tusi destroyed.
That would be a Dawa title.
It's a family.
Humiliated.
Whether you were born here or not, treat it as a family. If you're a British native, fight for your values. If you're a guest and a newcomer, respect the identity of the society.
You see the value that people like this add to the whole conversation. And what you can hear from this guy of Iranian background about values, defending values, protecting values, feeling at home, adjusting to those values, appreciating them, and so on, as opposed to the unlimited nonsense you hear from people who live in the West and who look like clowns and stand up for Islamists somewhere else.
These Iranians go hard, man. And I think it's because the Islamic takeover is still within their memories. You know what I mean? I mean, this is a pretty young guy, but it's all like they can culturally, they remember before the revolution and they remember after, and they know what happened since then, and they know what happens if you try to speak your mind and so on. And so they are like, I don't know, seems like they're going to be on the forefront of warning the rest of the world, guys. It is, and matter of fact, I saw someone recently said, guy, and it was someone from a Middle Eastern background, said, guys, trust me, it is way easier to preserve your country than to get it back after it's been Islamized. And so yeah, I think these guys, they know from experience what Islam does. And so
Yep. This whole Iran thing is coming up very, very often lately. I mean, I was also asked by Andrew Gold to speak about the whole Iranian revolution, and I thought, hey, that came in perfectly, because I did study that quite a bit in the past, but I was just refreshing my memory lately on that.
You should get Armin for that.
Yeah, but I talked about how people who in the West who are on the left in politics and who think it's a good idea to collaborate with Islamists should look at what happened in Iran during the Islamic Revolution. There you will see that this is a big mistake.
It doesn't matter. I don't care what your skin color is or your color of your hair, or if your pronouns are Abo and Caldo. You must treat it as a family. Now, I also have a message to all the British Christians out there. Ladies and gentlemen, we are having a crisis of birth rates and demographics. You must start having babies.
Everyone loves the Christians.
Have a lot of babies. In fact, straight after this event,
impregnate. Everyone get pregnant.
Don't drink too much beer, because sometimes that affects it.
A little bit helps though.
Yeah, straight after this event, go and make babies. That's
Hey,
solid
you know what'd have been
advice.
funny? And in case you're wondering, I have this chart right here. You see, up to 4 beers, it actually increases your chances of getting someone pregnant. But after that, then it starts dropping down a bit. So keep this chart in mind later.
Finally, the problems that we are finally talking about solutions. This is a positive campaign and movement, right? But it's not just about political issues. You can change your political parties, have a new party, have a new leader, whatever. We also have to fight the institutions and culturally across the country, because people have been neglected, which means the political left for decades and decades have been infiltrating our institutions, from academia to our cultural institutions, to media, to the political establishment. It's time for us to do the same now. It's time for us to show them that the new media revolution is here. I was going to be claiming that we have a lot of people watching on 2C TV Live right now, but Tommy is getting almost 1 million people, so Well done. The point of it is,
Yeah. By the way, if you're further interested in listening to this guy, Meyer Tusi, you can find him right here on YouTube, where he. What? I just checked last week, and we both had 498,000 subscribers, and now he has 509,000 subscribers.
In your face. That's because he makes regular videos and you do 5-hour live streams.
Yeah.
And today might have tipped it over the edge as well.
Most likely, yeah, most likely. So Tusi TV, you can search it right here, Tusi TV, and he has it right here. Meyer Tusi TV is rising very, very fast, very rapidly. It's very popular right now, and he's doing a fantastic job and organized this together with Tommy Robinson. However, because of this insult and subscriber counts, I will no longer give this man any attention. Just kidding. I will actually collaborate with him soon. Just is in the works. I think we're done watching stuff. There are just about 50,000 super chats left here, so I want to quickly read them. Anyone wants to leave or go or sleep?
I'll let you start them, AP. I might tap out halfway, but I'm here for now.
Okay, good. I'm gonna quickly go through some that might be very relevant to everybody. Fatwad said you guys read the Daily Mail article. Yeah, it was kind of this stupid hit piece of like far right really. There was a very funny part of it, which was I mentioned this before the show, where they just post random photos from the rally, and one of them is actually here. They actually post a screenshot from Tommy Robinson's Twitter feed, and I found the wording just very hilarious here. So they post a screenshot here, and where it says, so Tommy Robinson here says, posts the broadcast. The caption of this screenshot, caption of the screenshot on the Daily Mail says, oh yeah, here he says 542,000 live viewers. The caption says Robinson claimed his live stream on X, formerly Twitter, was being viewed by 542,000 people. And the thing is, I immediately thought, what does it mean? Claimed. The number is right here.
Can you
It right there. It's actually more, 551,000.
Exactly. And by the way, yeah, and I think that was the peak it was reaching to. But
it's right
even
here.
when
AP, you need to screenshot that, underline what they say, and point the arrow up.
The peak was actually the peak viewer count was actually like 900,000 people viewing live.
almost a mil, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it was like 900,000 people were watching the event live, and here it is just at 550,000. It says here, and they're like, Robinson claimed his live stream on X was being viewed.
Far right extremist Tommy Robinson has claimed, without any basis whatsoever, that his live stream was being viewed by 542,000 people.
And of course, we have no way to
Our
verify.
fact checkers have found this
Absolutely no way to
unsubstantiated.
Even though we can see his viewer count going up in real time, these accounts are still unsubstantiated.
We are not sure at this point if this is true or not.
Even though Tusi's just called this out on stage as well, he's there right now speaking, and he can see what's going on. But yeah, the amount of footage that has come out, like every single angle, it's going to be amazing. I used to think this was a joke, the way the mainstream media would vilify him, but I think I read you just backstage as well what the Telegraph did. Like David was saying as well, you guys were saying earlier, they tried so hard to find anything wrong, any picture that looked messed up, anything that looked like far-right hooliganism or vigilanteism, or literally anything, someone urinating in public, that would have been enough for them. You know, somebody having a pop at someone, getting a bit too drunk. So even the Telegraph said supporters of Tommy Robinson led an offensive chant as thousands of Met officers worked to maintain the peace across the capital. Work to maintain the peace. Wow, the choice of language is just so evident.
There was no need for it. In fact, people were arrested at the rally However, the people who were arrested were not part of Tommy Robinson's rally. They were actually part of the pro-Palestinian counter protesters. Those were the only people who were arrested because they did not comply and became a little bit unruly. So maybe the police was extra careful to say, okay, guys, okay. Let's not prove their point. Let's not prove their point. Let's just watch for those counter protesters and, calm them down and, take them with us whenever they do something wrong. Try not to touch these Tommy Robinson protesters. And obviously there was no need for it because they didn't do anything wrong. On the other hand, the socialist and Islamist protesters, they were shouting for throwing milkshakes at Tommy Robinson's face, for example, and things like
And
that.
dropping him into the sea.
Yeah,
The next one was to literally drop him into the sea. Like, what do you think he is? Like Bin Laden's dead body? Like, seriously.
Man. Teswood said Calvin Robinson rocks. Mr. Bukhari said Congressman Brian Mast gave an excellent response to a pro-Hamas woman. You know where we stand on terrorists. We stand on their throats. Wow. That guy's brutal. That guy's a bit brutal. He has a very shiny head, which makes it very interesting. Alhamdu Shawarma said, we need to start a petition and demand to put the phrase Allahu Akbar in the same category of Hail Age. AP's Kumar.
Alhamdulillah shawarma. I love it. I love it.
Oh, if you like funny names, we've got some in the chat.
We got you covered.
We've got you covered.
No, your guys' audience is next level. The inside jokes you have, the savagery. I'm trying to stop myself from laughing.
Like when we have someone else on with us, or we go on someone else's show, we like half the show is usually us explaining
Inside jokes.
Yeah, like the eyes are the leather strap of the anus and all this stuff, and we got to break all that down.
Sadly, I know about that hadith, but yeah, the rest, the spiteful stuff, this stuff is new to me. Jeez.
It's crazy out here. I bet Alhamdu Shawarma was named something else, but then named themselves Alhamdu Shawarma after yesterday's. Like, was it yesterday where we talked about shawarmas? I talked about how
we were talking about our
was,
favorite food we had in Israel.
Yeah, which where I talked about how shawarma was the best thing, and I ate it every day.
Not falafel? I bet someone's name here is falafel. Alhamdulillah falafel as well.
I actually haven't had any.
Okay, someone.
Yeah.
Falafel with those pickles, the red pickles. Oof.
I still need to try something different when I go there. I'll just probably, if I go there again, I'll just eat shawarma all day long. Knows too much said leftist. We're leftists. We're against Nazis and oppression. Also leftists. We are pro-Islam. Nazis aiming to genocide Jews. Judenrein, Judea is the solution. This is true. They are very much marching together with. It's so wild, so insane. There is a whole neo-Nazi, leftist, Islamist alliance right now, just like good old times. It's so ridiculous. It's insane to watch. Bad. Desbot, do you think after today there is some hope for the UK? Yeah, I think, actually, honestly, lately I have been very pessimistic, but just like Nuria, who is saying yes without saying yes, I think this whole event and what Tommy Robinson did and everyone else did, it is inspiring, and it gives me some hope, actually.
That's saying something, because Nuria, you weren't around. AP's like, it's too late. There's nothing you could do. There's nothing you could do. It's too late. Europe, you're doomed. Every European country, you're doomed. There's nothing you can do. Give it up and run while you can. It was pathetic.
AP, that is a bit pathetic. You just landed here for a couple of days. We didn't get under his skin enough. Okay, we're not going down like this. We are not gonna roll over and let this shit take over. If the rest of Europe will, we're not anymore. Tommy's woken us up. People have woken up. Also, David, you'd be happy to know, like, genuinely in circles where, like actual English people would be so afraid to touch Islam as a topic. They'd literally go into their shell and they're like, oh, this is not for me to discuss. It's not my domain. I don't want to be racist. I don't want to judge someone. Now, these English people are confronting direct they know about Islam. They know the most problematic things. They're not afraid to say it now. They're like, but what about your prophet? He did this, but the Quran says this. And now they're armed with enough knowledge that they are pushing Muslims having to be on the back feet to defend themselves. That's something new we're seeing. 20 years ago, this was not happening in the UK.
Yeah, I mean, because it is, I mean, people do not understand what a lonely world it was 15, 20 years ago. I mean, you had, again, as far as Christians were concerned, you had like Jay Smith in the UK. He was the guy in the UK. You had Samuel Green in Australia. You had Tony Costa up in Canada. You had a couple of us in the United States, but everyone's just constantly blasting us and attacking us. Christians were blasting us. Why you got to be so mean towards Islam and so on. And then you had people like Tommy who were more like kind of like political activists. We're like apologists dealing with Islam. You had like people like Tommy, and every time you say something, you got blasted from every direction. That's what sucked about it. You get, as a Christian, you would get blasted by Christians for being too mean, for criticizing Islam. So you're catching it from Muslims who are screaming at you. You're catching it from leftists. You're catching it from atheists. If you mention something critical of Islam, you got blasted from every direction. So now, just seeing where now all of a sudden all kinds of people are catching on and pointing out the stuff, which if you said it 15 years ago, you were called a liar. The Dawah guys would say you're a liar, and everyone would listen to the Dawah guys and say, no, this guy's lying. Because think about this, your average person, they have no clue what's in Sahih al-Bukhari, so they don't know anything. So if I say Muhammad had sex with a 9-year-old girl and the Muslims say, no, that guy's lying, well, who are you going to listen to? The people who represent their religion or some guy who's criticizing it, and they're all calling a racist. And so, I mean, one of the amazing things is it's the Dawah guys who've really helped. The Dawah guys have helped bring this about by, we can defend Muhammad's relationship with Aisha. And then everyone's like, whoa, wait a minute, you guys are, wait, these guys were right? That is what you oh my goodness, we thought they were liars. Now you admit it? Awesome times, awesome times.
Why stuttering?
You're stuttering.
Good one, David. Straight back.
Mr. Bukhari said, Nuria, what would you do as PM to fight Islam? There you go. This is your time to shine, Nuria.
This is my time to shine. And you know what, Mr. Bukhari? Oh, gosh. Mr. Bukhari, I would love to answer this. And maybe I'll do a video about it. But genuinely speaking, it's 4:07 a.m. So I'm not really in the frame of mind to answer that
you gotta be
as
careful
well as I would like to.
One quick last very quick
We're
question.
not very Islamophobic on this channel, so you have to be careful in talking about what you would do. Just
one quick last question.
I'd give them all a hug first.
Nuria,
Yeah.
you have any thoughts about going into politics? Because you kind of seem ideal for this situation in history.
I'm with Tommy and what he kind of views politics as, but yeah, I think that I'm gonna wait and watch to see what happens, and if I feel like it would make a difference, and this is kind of I could make a difference in there, then I'm happy to explore that. But yeah, I guess never say never.
We'll run your campaign for you.
You heard it here. Nuria is
thank you. We'll do
going
some
into politics, going into
cross-Atlantic
politics,
Ocean campaigning. Yes.
Going into politics. You heard it here first. Fantastic. This is good news. Sheikh Ma Wingling says Europeans are spitting on the graves of their ancestors that fought wars to keep Islam out of Europe.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's a big accusation here. Europeans would never do that. Timothy Freeman said, Blessed Michael Archangel, defend us. Saint George Patrick, Thomas Becket, Thomas More, Edmund Campion, Cardinal John Henry Newman, Our Lady of Walsingham, and all ye holy saints of pray for us. Is this supposed to have a rhythm? Is this a known prayer in Australia?
Why are you asking me?
You don't know anything about Australia. Cremo the Dreamo said, will Nuria be like Hirsi Ali and become Christian, or does she subscribe to my theory that her finding Jesus was to combat Chardonnay dependence?
Chardonnay. Oh, why not Pinot Grigio? I'm more of a Pinot Grigio fan, to be honest. But
Yeah.
yes, I will always seek Jesus to combat my Chardonnay or Pinot Grigio dependence for sure.
That's good.
I
That's
will
good to
ask him to take the wheel in those moments,
Yeah,
definitely.
you heard it here first.
Yeah.
Dr. Hypnos, hey there. When to expect Mossab has an interview? Not anytime soon.
Hey, could you imagine if Mossab had come up at that rally? I will tell you.
Honestly, as much as I
would choose the
like
cow.
him, I think it would be catastrophic.
Choose the cow. Choose the cow. Choose the cow.
He'll probably go up there and be like, and this is why we have a problem with Muslims.
And the streets will flow with the blood. Mossab goes really hard sometimes.
Definitely a 30 where laws don't matter, just the will of the powerful. Marxists. How did the UK get to this? It just did. Times change. There is one aspect. I don't even know if I want to talk about it. I thought I would probably make a few comments on it if it ever came up while we were watching the videos. But somebody who is a politician was at the rally too and spoke very early on and presented certain ideas. As soon as I heard them, I thought, no. And yeah, I know that there are lots of people who are probably also watching this and who will disagree with me on this, which doesn't matter because I'm right. But so the guy was talking about how there is a globalist plot and how certain organizations and certain movements and so on are behind trying to take over and planning with certain programs and with certain vaccines and pandemics and certain policies and things like that to rile people up and to rule on their own over the average population and things like that. And it's that standard narrative that you hear from some people who think the explanation is very simple. It's that there are some powerful people behind the scenes who are actually in charge of everything and there's nothing you can do. I must say, sorry if you think that way as well. And if you think the World Economic Forum and the World Health Organization is in charge and certain groups are in charge, it's a very stupid idea. It's an incredibly stupid idea. It is also a very defeatist, a very unproductive idea, and very counterproductive idea, actually, because it gives people the impression that there is basically nothing you can do, that the situation is hopeless, that you can't change things, that there is no hope anyway, because there's this organization or this collective of people controlling everything. The guy even said, I think, that the next election will be pointless anyway, but what we must do is to organize. That is just so ridiculous. It's like, I know it's very simple to say, yeah, there are some organizations that are behind everything, and the World Economic Forum, they are responsible for everything. They are messing everything up. That's why things are going this way. But that's just so simplistic. It's so simplistic. It's the easiest solution, the easiest answer, the easiest explanation, without putting any effort into it at all. It relies on no solid evidence. It is all about speculation. Like, oh, well, if it is not true, then why is this and this happening? It all relies on speculation, on inferences. And it gives people the idea that there is nothing you can do. There is something you can do. Okay, you don't have to believe that there is a force of globalists behind the scenes who are forcing things to go this way. No, there is something you can do. You can always change. You can always get out there, just like Tommy Robinson did today, and organize and wake more people up and change things through politics, through talking to people, through voicing your resentments, and so on. I'm sorry, but there is no globalist agenda. There is no secret organization of weirdos controlling the world. The World Economic Forum is actually quite pathetic if you look at their agenda and their actual impact and their actual power compared to what people like Alex Jones always claim. There is no plan to take all of your belongings away and turn you into a bunch of minions who will only take vaccines and never be able to think anymore. This is ridiculous nonsense. It's nonsense for small minds. It comes from small-minded people who simply inspire nothing but hopelessness. What's the point in doing something like that? It's dumb.
I'd like to see AP, hopeful AP from today, debate hopeless AP from 2 weeks ago and see how they do. I could literally just take clips of you from 2 weeks ago and go back and forth with clips of things you're saying now. And it's like totally different world.
Well,
wow.
Well,
I wasn't exaggerating, Nuria. Everything I suggested as far as Islam not taking over the world is it's all pointless. You don't stand a chance in hell. You're all doomed.
Well, I still have the same position on conspiracy theories. It's just that I have more hope now. That's it.
Wow. Did something change? Did Tommy get under your skin today, AP? What's changed?
I think Tommy actually made an impact on me as well. See?
Good.
And I told him that. I sent him a message that, hey, fantastic.
There's your
inspiring.
tweet. There's your tweet, AP. Tommy Robinson gives me hope.
Yeah, that's it. That's the tweet.
Yep, inshallah, I will do that. Yes. Timothy Freeman says, God save King Charles, God save England from the scourge of the Mohammedans and the influx of Saracen brigands. Ave, Ave, Christus Rex. That's good. I'm really happy that you're finding happiness in using the super chat function for these slogans. It's very cool. Tauren Touch is here saying something about veganism again. I'm sick of veganism, Tauren. I don't care about your vegan propaganda.
Vegan.
Tauren Touch literally just said, I make not even one about that. I don't know what you're saying. Stop speaking vegan. Have any of you watched my vids? No, I don't want to watch videos about veganism. I told you that already.
Veganism.
Ayatollah Khamenei said, breaking news, Tauren Touch makes 75th veganism video of the day. Tauren stocks are plummeting. Nuria again has no idea what we're talking about.
Don't worry. Don't worry. Carry on.
Celeria Rosencroix said, is my memory correct that you were asking to have me send my best video over via Access PM system? That's very precise, Celeria Rosencroix. Yes, that is indeed true. And I do acknowledge that you have sent me direct messages, and I will look into those further and get back to you as soon as my abilities and my availabilities make it possible. Merci beaucoup. Yes. Tauren Touch, yeah, funny bro. Thanks for promoting my channel. Again, some veganism stuff. I don't care. Ayatollah Khamenei said AP humiliates Anglican leadership. Anglicans forced back into the veganism video. Minds with Tauren Touch. Yeah. Don't say Mike Winger's name 3 times, or he will appear wearing a Star Trek sweater or vest. Mike Winger, Mike Winger, Mike Winger. That didn't happen, but you know what?
Good. Gosh.
Look, now I appeared with this shirt here.
Hey, that's a funny one.
Yeah, it's good, right? Pretty cool.
Love that.
Tez, what Calvin Robinson rocks. He does indeed. I had no idea about him, but I love him after today. Vincent, I can't believe I'm in the last room with Christians and agreeing. I'm an atheist and noticed the moral decay in American society as atheism has become more popular. It's disheartening. Yeah. I don't know why atheists are here. How many people are ridiculous? Yeah, no, I feel the same way. Not the same way, but I feel what you feel when you say that.
He feels your pain, Vincent.
Yeah. And I have to pretend that I'm kind of, that I appreciate the whole Christian aspect and Christian sentiment and Christians all for business because
you're an undercover Christian.
Because the Mossad wants me to work together with David Wood because it works so well. So they send us these shekels.
They send us buckets of shekels.
New shekels. Otherwise, I don't care about Christians. But they force us to work together, so this is just what we have to put up with.
And they send us all these things and stuff too that we're supposed to wear all the time.
Yeah. Should get back to work, said the English way. I don't mean to be rude, but proceeds to detonate atomic insult.
That's so true. Oh my gosh.
Alarming and distressing all over the place. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah.
Oh, if you handled that so well, I literally was like, Alhamdulillah. Like, I didn't even get the Alhamdulillah play on words. That is the play on words, right?
It's a nice one. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
I don't mean to be
Clever.
rude, but Muslims, they worship a warmongering paedophile.
Mohammedans, not even Muslims.
Sorry, Mohammedans, yeah.
Mohammedans.
Pretty harsh. Yosef Eli said, may the Lord bless your leather straps and your truthful goat-consuming mouth, Mr. Calvin. Yeah, I wanted to say the exact same things to him. You should send a message to Calvin Robinson directly with just these words.
Oh my God. Don't do that. He definitely knows that hadith as well. He knows Islam really well. Oh, guy does not need to see that in his inbox.
Robin Hood said, AP, will you be coming out as Thor of the Nordic Catholic Church? That's the thing. When I see Nordic Catholic Church, I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I'm thinking of Odin giving up his eye to attain more knowledge, and ravens flying around everywhere, and all the Norse gods. But then it says Catholic Church. I get very confused. I don't know what that is. Urinated brew said golden something. It's actually golden shower.
Urinating upon one another. That's what they do.
Tower and Touch said, my actual videos are about Hinduism, Zionism, and Islamic terrorism, but in this case, I would just call Muhammad a vegan instead of other things. We know it's all about veganism. You're just trying to cover up for that, so don't even try.
Hey, Tarun, you should make a video titled Muhammad was a vegan. That'd be funny.
That'd be very, very bad. Michelle Moffat said, AP skins like you've been reading Matt 7. Wise man building house on rock, foolish man on sand. X love to you, hugs from... Why is this show a black flag here?
Scotland. I can see the Scottish flag.
He thinks it's a black flag. It's not.
On my screen, it shows a black flag. What the hell?
Ooh.
Also, I love how AP doesn't even try and correct typos. He reads them like he obviously said AP sounds like you've been reading, but you're like AP skins like I've been.
Oh wait, that means
it's very rude.
Oh
yeah.
I know. That's just what I do because I'm a.
That's what they do.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Urinating upon one another. That's what they do.
But seriously, look at this. Look at this on my screen. What I see here. Whoa,
he's sharing a screen that's literally on the screen right now.
Well, on my screen
Inception.
here, I see a black flag there.
Look at that. Look at that. We can see all the. Put that back up. It was all the way down. We can see like a million screens.
Yeah, let's go all the way down.
Look at that. Guys, look all the way down.
My God, that is Inception.
But are you serious? So when you look at this, you see the Scottish flag here on the
No,
watch
no,
page?
you're right. You're right. That is showing just a.
I only see a
weird-
black flag here.
Yeah.
That's
weird.
Anyway, now that we went down that hole.
He's not pessimistic about Scotland. That's actually what he saw.
Oh no, I'm not pessimistic about Scotland. Scotland, only a wee bit.
Why would someone post? I think if we hadn't been here, he would have assumed that someone's just posting the black flag of jihad or something.
I don't know.
Oh, yeah, what is it? Esfahan? Esfahan, what's the black flag that's going to come? That there's a hadith. The black flags of something will be flown.
I think it is Esfahan, actually. From
Yeah,
Esfahan.
something like that.
Nuri, can you do a Scottish accent?
You don't happen to have change of 50 pence, do you? Not really, no, I can't.
Nice. Nice.
They may take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom. No, I can't do it. I haven't tried.
Dave looked like he was having a stroke towards the end. I was like, are you okay?
Yeah, it sounded like you
You filthy haggis.
Now do Irish.
Hmm?
Now do Irish.
Me frosted Lucky Charms. They're magically delicious.
Suddenly David turned so soft. He was such a like intense Scotsman, and then he turned so soft.
Well, that's because I think of Irish as leprechauns, and I think of Scottish as Braveheart. I don't know.
I like the R's that they do in the Irish. The R has this very peculiar, very nice sounding thing.
It's so cute.
Er.
Yeah, it's very sweet. 33,
Yeah.
33, top of the morning to you. 33.
Nice. Nice. Now this is going to turn into an
33, maybe it's tree. I don't know. I need to go
Yeah.
to Ireland and scout it out.
Paolo Lungaro said, "Bring back the Templar Knights." No offense, dude. The French king killed them all and eradicated them and accused them of being something like the Illuminati of the day. Some people actually still think it's true. So yeah, they were cool guys. Ayatollah Khamenei said, "Islamic Shark Tank. The best I can do is a to the face." Yeah. Yeah. Govan gifted 5 memberships. Thank you so much for expanding this cult. Soon we will have enough people for me to move everyone into a compound and do whatever I say. Goat Up Music said Ali's wife is actually Smiles to Jannah. We have already established that. Joshua J. Gonzalez said, "So if Momo was a rapey, Deyon pedo, and he's the example for all peoples of all time, can one be a good Muslim and not be a rapey, Deyon pedo, Holmes?" Yeah. David, why are you being so racist?
No, this goes back to that issue of if Muhammad liked something, you have to like it too, and you're in trouble if you don't.
Yeah, that's true. Ayatollah Khamenei said, "Really enjoyed Ali Dawa's wife's music in the most Isley Cantina." Yeah, me too. Hamza Tortoise. Hey, what's up, Hamza Tortoise? How you doing? Hamza Tortoise here with a super chat. Hamza Tortoise, thank you so much for being here. Hamza Tortoise said David Wood is corrupting AP into becoming a Christian. Yeah. I don't know about that. Infinite Oneness made of the super chat and said, "Meanwhile in India, ex-Muslim Samir has burned Quran and protesting ex-Tian killing in Pakistan, encouraging hopefully Guy is safe in India." I hope so too. I don't know anything about that because I'm not following the situation in India.
Yeah, I'm trying to look it up right now.
Yeah, he so I just like skim over these sometimes, but yeah, ex-Muslim Samir is I believe, again, don't quote me on this, AP definitely don't, but he's an ex-Muslim, I think, turned like Hindu now. But in the middle of the stream, I think he found out about what happened in Sargodha in Pakistan. It was a city where I think a Christian man was killed essentially for allegations of blasphemy. It was horrific, very similar to the other situations we see in Pakistan. And it again, rocked the nation and obviously rocked even Muslims in, oh my God, AP. I'm just going to say, quote me so you don't quote me next time. But yeah, so live, I think when Samir was doing his stream, he actually took the Quran and he just stepped up to his camera and he put his trainer on the Quran and like started smashing it up and then ripped it out and said, "As long as people are dying for this, then I'm going to keep doing this. This is your religion." And they tried to have the impact because he's got a decent following and obviously India's got a massive population in general. They were trying to get the police and stuff involved to the level that it would affect Nupur Sharma, what happened with her, the abuse or the vitriol or someone take it into their own hands. But for ex-Muslim Samir, I think ex-Muslim Sahil, who I think is the biggest Indian ex-Muslim YouTuber, he came out and did a stream right afterwards in support of ex-Muslim Samir, and then so did other ex-Muslim Indian YouTubers. So they almost said if one person do it, we'll all do it, and how many of us are you going to take down, kind of thing. But yeah, that's kind of in a nutshot what happened.
Yeah, just I looked it up and I saw him. So I'm looking at the video right now of him ripping up the Quran and standing on it and stuff like that. But where I'm seeing this is on a bunch of Muslim accounts contacting YouTube and YouTube India, asking how this content is not being taken down. I have to say, one, that sounds kind of like an AP and D Wood move. Start messing with the Quran when there's breaking news of some messed up stuff. But guys, it's This would be way more effective if this were like standard. You hear about a Hindu being killed in the name of Allah, a Christian being killed in the name of Allah, someone being arrested for blasphemy somewhere in the name of Allah. If like the entire world rose up and started desecrating Qurans and stuff every time it happened. I mean, if the goal is to silence critics and to silence people of blasphemy and to silence people from criticizing Islam, and every time you killed someone for it, it ended up causing way more blasphemy against it, I think that would actually be a pretty darn effective deterrent.
Pretty darn effective. Yes, pretty. Yeah, sounds reasonable. That's good. Thank you for all the knowledge, everybody. It's me, Muhammad said, you will revert after this, Sahih Muslim 262. And I looked it up. We have here the hadith of the day. This is very
It's a me, Muhammad.
We have a very important hadith here. So it says, Salman reported that it was said to him, your apostle teaches you about everything, even about excrement. He replied, yes. He has forbidden us to face the Qibla at the time of excretion or urination, or cleansing with the right hand, or with less than 3 pebbles, or with dung or bone.
Wow, YahWeh. Have you read anything more profound in your goddamn lives?
Well, who could have known about this? Who could have known?
Seriously.
No one.
7th century.
Scientists have just confirmed that you have to wipe with at least 3 pebbles, but definitely an odd number.
But the excretion part, like you're not supposed to face the Qibla when you poop. Like, who could have known this 1,100 years
You'll
ago?
get sick if you face the Qibla.
Even in its general direction from millions of miles away.
Yeah.
Hey. So when I saw that, then it was all connected in my mind. I was thinking about me Frosted Lucky Charms, and then I saw Qibla, and it made me think of the Keebler elves. And then I was thinking we should do something with the Qibla elves. Qibla elves. There should be some sort of skit with the Qibla elves. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
That sounds terrible. That sounds absolutely terrible. I'm going to pretend I never heard that. Joshua J. Gonzalez said, media reporting on Calvin, far-right clergy member foams at the mouth as he goes on unhinged, bigoted, racist, Islamophobic tirade. That's fantastic.
We're proud of that.
Yudik Patsu, that's not really what happened. That's, I think, what he predicts would happen. Hanging.
What?
Thank you for ruining the show by
Your
playing
wife sent me that. Your wife sent me this link. She said this would be a good video to review, and so I clicked on it. Don't blame me. Blame your wife for sending me a link right while we were live. No, it's cool. I was looking for this video because I had seen a clip that someone had recorded on their camera from it, and I was like, I don't want to use that clip that someone recorded on their camera. But yeah, this is the actual video. Oh, no wonder. Just posted today, 12 hours ago. Oh, interesting stuff. In your face, AP. You have insulted me, and you've insulted your wife. Let's face it here.
Eunuch Peasant said, hanging on in quiet desperation is the English way. The time is gone. The song is over. Thought I'd say something more to say.
Hanging on in quiet desperation is the English way. The time is gone. The song is over. Thought I'd something more to say. That's how it goes. That's how you're supposed to say it. Yeah, hey, if you quote Pink Floyd on this live stream or any live stream that I'm a part of, you will quote it correctly. Secret.
How about no? McKellen LOL said, Secured undercover Christian. That should be one of your new vids and make like a 79's action movie. That would be fantastic. Ayatollah Khamenei said, breaking purple. Aki cited at the counter protest trying to trick Mohammed Hijab into doing push-ups. Nick Thornton said, I was there. We have another one on the 27th of July. Fantastic.
We should try and go, man. We should try.
Yeah, sorry, it was July. I think I accidentally said June earlier, but July, yeah, absolutely. Like, and people who thought that it was gonna branch off into some next level chaos, which I'm not gonna lie, I also thought that. So I was like, let me just sit back and see what happens, because I thought the pro-Palestine crowd were going to be out to dismantle Tommy. But I think the level of security he got, the march route that he planned, the fact that the Met Police had said will not let any counter-protesters near that vicinity. So when these guys went from Victoria to Parliament, the other counter-protesters, the Social Workers Party and stuff, they had to stay clear. But I would suggest, if you are like, I don't know, I guess like a Tommy fan, or you want to kind of be part of this, then there are going to be more. And I think what David is like saying, if you want to cross the pond for one of these and just be part of the electric atmosphere in the UK and kind of use their example now, even for the rest of Europe, to kickstart whatever we're doing here, like whatever the Netherlands is already doing, and I guess what America might seek to do, this is like an amazing thing to be a part of. And Tommy is not isolated people to say you have to fit this certain mold to fight this fight. If you believe in this fight, come fight this fight.
What if, a serious question here, what if you are a person who is absolutely repulsed by the thought of calling soccer a sport, and then you have to like walk amongst people who act like soccer hooligans, literal people you laugh at when you see clips of them on YouTube, like, who are these guys? Like, actually being with them, like would that be allowed? Or because I feel like they beat the crap out of me. I feel like I'd have to say something. I would have to say something, and then they would they would try to beat me up, and then it'd be, American.
But Tommy, what about the rugby players?
American just beat up 15 soccer hooligans who attacked him, or something like that.
You would first have to explain yourself, because who in the world says soccer? So
they would be like, sorry, mate, what are you on about? And then you'd be like, oh, that stupid game you guys play with your feet that's meant to be called soccer, but you guys don't call it that.
Yeah,
then they'll have a huge...
where you guys burn your city to the ground if you reach the mighty score of 1-0. And that's snooze fest.
It's so funny. It's so funny. Americans have this whole sentiment of like they are the only ones watching that's their own specific sport, and it's like, of course, it's better than
like
than
the only
the-
exciting moment is like, go!
I think we need to take David to a proper game and a proper state. Oh my God.
I have to say,
He actually went
it's
that
possible
long.
because I've never liked baseball, but I went to an actual baseball game, Yankees game.
Are you serious, man? You're comparing
game.
baseball to football? Is this? It's like comparing I don't know, playing with a dog to watching a fish tank. That's it. Like
Yeah, soccer's like
Good one, AP. That was a very good analogy.
It is, yes. Soccer. Watching soccer is like watching a fish tank. That is a good example.
No, that's not where it goes.
You said it.
David, you will definitely respect rugby as a sport, and I think you might change your mind.
I would respect rugby.
I knew it.
Rugby's a sport.
And I think you might be able to appreciate football if you were to see it live in action. I agree with you in the sense that footballers, even rugby players, look down on footballers as like, come on, guys, like really, you this is what's happening here versus what's happening. So I get you, but just give it a shot. If you are on this side of the pond, see them in their, I guess, like on their home turf, and see them in their habitat, and just see if you feel like, okay, this I can now class as a sport, because it has ticked enough boxes for me to feel like I respect it now, and I will not call it soccer. That is sacrilege.
Only suckers call it soccer. Urinating brooms. Testimony if a woman is worth half of a man's, Allah knows best. You need at least one more woman to back up what Nuri is saying, brother. This is a good point, actually.
Yeah, that would.
You do.
Hey, what if Ali Dawa's wife had 2 dry erase boards? Would that count?
Sorry, I accidentally pushed that button. I don't know why I did that. That's a good thought. Frank B said the UK doesn't have police; they have security guards with stupid accents.
Oh, cheers, Frank.
Nick One Thornton, lots of Muslim MPs about to be elected July 4th.
Woohoo!
Oh, it sounds pretty bad, doesn't it?
They're trying, yeah. They won't be though.
Yeah.
Inshallah, they won't
It's
be.
all desperation.
1-8 set Jackson Inquilabi, Martin, Syrian girl, and many others are purveyors of Russian, Chinese, and mass propaganda. Deport these despicable traitors ASAP. I like this tweet because it ends with AP. The super chat, I mean. Yeah. Jihad Free Zone said, which country has the highest apostasy rate? could be Iran.
I would say Iran, and you could just look at that. Just as far as what the official
What is happening?
government statistics
Why
are.
am I saying it the dumb American way and you're saying it the proper way?
Yeah, that was really weird to hear. Iran and then Iran. Wow.
That was so weird. I'm supposed to say it the right way, and you're supposed to say Iran. So that was very
Yeah.
strange.
Yeah, you're gonna say Arab.
Let's talk about the Arabs. Yeah. Rex Dangers that have been explaining to Islam to my family and friends, and when they ask what reasons do they give to believe I have nothing. What? I've been explaining Islam to family and friends, and when they ask what reasons do they give to believe I have nothing.
Oh, I think he's saying they ask, hey, what reasons do Muslims give? And he says, I have nothing. I have nothing to say.
I have nothing.
Because they have no arguments anymore.
Except the circular one. That why? Because the Quran says so. Because why? Because Allah says the Quran says so. So you're stuck.
And the latest, me and AP, we're watching like Muhammad Hijab. I pointed out I had no clue what their arguments are going to be, because all the arguments they used 10 years ago they acknowledge now were based on deception. So I had no idea what they would argue. And Muhammad Hijab, he actually finally presented his new case for Islam, and it was Islam preaches monotheism, so Muhammad must be a true prophet. And Muhammad's tremendous moral character proves that he's a prophet. Those were his latest one-two punch as far as Islam is concerned. There you go.
Go to music here is paraphrasing Meyer to see.
That's literally what he was saying.
Romeo Stagger, AP, and Davey, you're handsome in it as well. Okay.
No, handsome mean. We're handsome mean.
I think it's because
handsome mean.
Nuria is beautiful. That's what it said somewhere.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Can't find that though.
Yeah, that was
equality. See?
Yeah. Tower and Touch. I always like it when it becomes about my channel. Stop about your vegan channel. Okay.
Vegan network.
Free AP stream from veganism. Yeah. Urinating brew, Mo Hijab versus Tower and Touch debate on veganism. When?
It's funny that Tarun is actually making this another inside joke on our channel. Everything's about veganism.
I don't even know who Tarun is. Or at some point, it turned into a veganism joke, and we're just keeping with that. So.
we do come upon a joke, and then we just stick with it forever.
Yeah. Joe Serrano, Spanish Reconquista repeat. Oh no, that was a very, very tragic moment in time for Spain. Wait, why do I still have this on the screen here? I need to remove this. Okay. Nikolaus Ruprecht made a super chat. Thank you so much, Nikolaus and Ruprecht. Faris Adam, God bless you. The 3 nights, AP, Davy, Nuria. Thank you.
Yeah, Knightess. What's the female of a knight? Knightess?
I was just thinking about the same various thing.
You know, well, AP, what was it, like yesterday or something like that? I mentioned, because you talked about the life of Brian, and I said that I've watched Monty Python and the Holy Grail like 50 times when I was young. I never got the joke when the French guys were calling them Kniggets. And I didn't know, why is he calling that? I thought it was like a French insult. I didn't find out till years later. Oh, they're pronouncing knights, but they're pronouncing it how it's spelled. I never got that joke. It was funny.
Kniggets.
You ducky English Kniggets.
You really need to watch that. We need to do a watch party of Blind Freak.
Oh yeah, it's lady. I think a lady is it's not. A lady is opposite of Lord. Anyway,
we need a Monty Python and the Holy Grail or Life of Brian style movie, but about Islam. And we
All the offended by that. All the things they will come and they will try to kill us, because the Christians will be offended. They will try to kill us all.
a dame is a lady knight. Thank you. Who said that? Thank you so much.
Oh yeah,
Heavy Gretel.
I was just looking it up. Okay.
It's a dame. It's a dame. Thank you. Female knight is dame in the UK.
I wouldn't be able to sleep without.
Me too. I would maybe go and get an Uber right now to Trafalgar Square and start protesting why there's no official word in the feminine for knight, but there is. So we're all good in the UK. Do you guys have one in America?
That's some solid move there. Yeah. Tommy calls brother Bob out of the crowd today. It's on YouTube. David Wood will appreciate the crowd chants. Oh, hi, AP and NK. Nuria Khan. Yes, he did that. I think Bob wasn't on the list of people who are actually supposed to come and
That's
speak.
cool if he just called him
but,
out.
But Tommy saw him and he said, Bob, Speaker's Corner, come up here. Come up here. I love this guy's stuff. So,
and I bet Bob was, we need a muscular Christianity.
He talked about being proper Christians and all that. It was pretty solid. Pretty solid. Celery Rosencroix said, come here home again. I like to be here when I can. What is this? When I come home cold and tired, it's good to warm my bones beside the fire. What is this? What song is this? Do I know this song?
I don't, but it sounds hella cozy.
Yeah, very, very much so.
Like coming back to an inn after I don't know what kind of fighting.
No.
Anyway.
Home again. I like to be here when I can. And when I come home cold and tired, it's good to warm my bones beside the fire. There you go. That's how it's done.
Cheers, David.
Thank you.
Round of applause. AP, I'm so sorry to cut you off. Is it cool if I check out? Because it's going to be 5 a.m. here
It would
soon.
have been cool.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Totally.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you so much. Thank you for joining, and it was very nice. Hope to have you here again.
Ditto. We'll do this again sometime. And thank you for covering the UK, and keep eyes on the UK, okay? Today was the beginning of something massive, hopefully.
And Nuria, anytime if there's anything we can ever do to help you on any work you're doing or your channel or anything, let us know.
Oh, cheers, David. I will actually. I'll be in touch via email, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
We'll do something. Cheers, guys. Bye-bye. Good night.
Yeah.
Night.
War Night.
Finally, it's just men. Manly men.
It fascinates me how Spain is the most pro-Muslim country in the EU. Do Spaniards not realise that Muslims work believes in facial immunity and people free? Sorry, that was horrible.
That was the worst thing I've ever heard in my life.
Do Spaniards not realize that the Muslim world believes in the phrase from the Atlantic to the Mediterranean Sea, Al-Andalus will be free? No, they don't. However, Muslims fundamentally will have this idea that once it is a religious land, once it is a Muslim land, it is always a Muslim land, and so it shall be again.
And that is the Muslim scholarly interpretation of a verse which originally applied to Mecca, but it was drive them out from whence they drove you out. That's a command. So you had later Muslims who said that's a command of any place that we've been driven out of. You have to drive people out of place where they drove you out of. And so that's the theological basis for reconquering Israel. And for all you Spaniards who would think, oh yeah, they need to be successful there. Keep in mind, you are next. You would be the next target. It would be, we got Israel. Now we need to go get back Spain.
Rochester said, AP, why are you letting women make decisions?
Good point.
This is true. I should have told her, no.
Valid point.
Okay, now you can go. So yeah, I will correct my behavior for the next time. John Galt said, have you heard about Mannheim? Well-known German Islam critic Michael Stutzenberger got stabbed yesterday. Europe is a shithole. I heard, yes. And we wanted to talk about it, but we talked about Tommy Robinson so much today. But I will look into that so we can cover it as soon as possible. Chadbot said, I wonder if we can get people going to church in UK regardless of whether they believe or not to fight back against Islam. It's a big deal. Can't think about it right now any further. I'm tired. I need to go. Celeria Rosencroix said, to be fair, at the very least, the Russians had the genocide on Ukraine and the other mass casualties that resulted from Stalin's dickery. Yep. Soviet Russia was...
That was straight brutal. If you want to talk about genocide, I mean, going in there, taking all the food, not even just going in there and gunning them down, going in there and taking all their food, all their seeds, everything, bringing in food sniffing dogs to find out if they're even hiding food, taking it all and then just leaving them there to starve. And then Russians go back in there, hey, we need to take this place back. Ukraine's like, I don't think so.
Yeah. Uralic Tribe says Stalin was responsible for sending 25 million people to the gulags, deleting 70% of the Kazakh population because of hunger. May they never be forgotten. This is true. It's true. It's what they do. Joshua Wooden, hearing someone call non-American football is as sarcastic and cringe as hearing an atheist say amen, but all jokes aside, I support TR. You support what?
Tommy Robinson.
Tommy Robinson. Oh, okay, good.
This is a good comment, by the way.
Yeah.
Hearing someone call non-American football is that's nuts, man. Anyway, I just think if they called it soccer, then we would have world peace. That's all I'm saying.
That's just the wrong way. It's like driving on the left side. George Varzi said, sorry, people, Turks are more anti-Semitic than Arabs and way more anti-Israel, just my experience. I'm not sure why you were saying sorry.
Yeah, like, is that I apologize heartily, AP, for offending you with this statement.
I'm sorry for what you're about to read. No, yeah, Turks are pretty racist in general.
Yeah, in general, all of them, 100%.
Yeah. Every single one. Oberger Nauven said, I looked into Old Catholicism. It's a variant of Anglicanism. The main difference is that it doesn't get the Anglican minus 5% tech cost. This is, of course, going into a video game here. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Soda Pop Jones said, why did the Muslim cross the road to die in the name of Allah? Huh.
Oh, because he heard someone criticized pedophilia.
You see, David singing as genocide. It literally is, man. It literally is. Can't believe we're doing this. Tim Peterson said we need 2 female guests to trust what they say. We actually need 4. 4. That would be it. Because it's like, yeah, yes.
Hey, that would be a funny defense of polygamy. Like, well, since we need multiple female witnesses, how am I supposed to believe my wife about anything? Unless I have multiple wives.
This person with an Israeli name said, as a Jew from Israel, don't lose hope. If our ancestors had lost hope, there would be no Jews today and there would be no Israel. There are hard times, but we have to fight with the truth. Always believe and be optimistic.
Good point, AP.
All jokes aside, a very nice comment.
Yeah. If anyone had a basis for getting miserable and depressed and thinking, oh my goodness, the whole world is against us, it would be Jews around the time of World War II.
It would be the Juden.
And they didn't. They said, no, we're going to survive and we're going to build. That's what they did.
They said, we're going to build back better.
We're going to build back baster. More based.
It is really the struggle of the Jewish people, despite everything. I don't know. It's something great to admire. And then coming and saying, "Oh, they're just like Nazis." Like, that's pretty freaking.
Because they think they can have a country.
Yeah. Okay, I just found out. Wait a minute. Is this right? Is your name Efrat Cohen? Is that how I say it?
It's Benjamin Cohen.
No, I think it's Efrat.
It's Eli Copter.
I think it's Efrat Cohen. I think that's it. Yeah, very much appreciated comment here. Thank you. Dark Angel, may the avalanche of apostasy never end. May it get bigger and bigger like a natural avalanche. Cup of Indian tea. Hi, everyone. Hi, Nuria. Who's Nuria?
Yeah.
I've heard that there is a good place to get a
David
falafel sandwich that will give you a mind-blowing experience. Yeah, true. Not sure who you're talking to. There's David and AP here.
Maybe her mind was blown by the Palestinian experience.
Tarun Taj said something about veganism, eating meat, food, whatever, some of that stuff. Also, please watch and take the proof already, David. Huh, okay, interesting. Sid Dave, Muslims are the greatest defenders of secularism, freedom of speech, democracy when they're in a minority. Really appreciate the efforts. They're so good. They're so good, man.
Really
wow.
good.
Muslims wanting to immigrate to West should be asked to draw a cartoon of Mo and post it on their social media profiles. What's wrong with that? Yeah, that should be a requirement. Immediately. Nikolaus and Ruprecht made a super chat. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Bag Gamer, Gaga Mehmed said made a super chat. Can't read all of that. Sahib Muslim 262A OMG. This is crazy. It is pretty much. GG Ryder said Jewish people rarely agree on anything. Jews are famous for arguing and debating with Jews. This is true. This is a common joke among Jews as well. I was thinking of a joke that I heard when I was in Israel about that, but can't remember. Ayatollah Khamenei said, Tolerant Touch, watch how quickly I can derail the show. David would hold my beer. Celeria Rosenkroa home again. I already read this. What's wrong with you? Flerovium Red just said, AP, I saw you holding a rosary last stream. What's up with that? You considering Catholicism? No, I always liked the rosary.
You've also seen him in a yarmulke and holding up a demon.
Yeah, so
idol.
I've always liked the rosary for some reason. I think it's a very likable thing.
It is. I'm not Catholic, but the rosary, as far as religious things, is cool. Probably second only to that strap that the Jews have around their arms. That thing is all time. Like, it's in a different category of coolness.
You're fascinated with that.
I want to figure out how Christians can use that same thing and not be accused of cultural appropriation or something.
I want to introduce it into Islam as an innovation, a bid'ah. Yeah, it's pretty cool though. But doesn't it take a lot of effort? The tefillin, that's what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's something where you could probably get cheap ones, but if you want a real cool one that's really well made, it's probably expensive.
But how long does it take? I mean, serious question here. How long does it take to do tefillin, like for any of the prayers and occasions? How long does it take to put all of that together? Because it looks like this takes a lot of time with that wrapping and tying around. Serious question now. Really wondering. I'm going to Google that in a second. Chintan said it's a miracle how China and Russia handles Muslims. They can't do anything there. It means politicians are super corrupt in Western nations. The West is very non-corrupt, however. There is a corruption on a different level. It's like the corruption of the mind. A serious sickness. I was going to say something about Catholicism. I kind of like something about Catholicism. However, yeah, I'll leave it at that. Tyrant Touch said, "Okay, but all jokes aside, ask the people who watched me here. I actually have non-vegan vids."
Hey, vegan vids sounds like Vidu vids.
Yeah.
Hey, Tarun, you should call your channel Vegan Vids and then have your channel have nothing to do with veganism. That'd be funny.
Vegan vids, making videos about I don't know, destroying random things. What 10% said tefillin takes 2 to 3 minutes? Really?
What?
Really? It looks like people spend a lot of time on that.
I'm looking at the cost. Looks like about
$600, $1,000.
I'm looking. Well, I see these two. You can get a cheap one. There's a little plastic one for kids, and it says "My own first play tefillin set for boys, realistic and safe, $29.99." So you can get a cheap $29.99 one. For the adult versions, they look like they start around $200. I see $200, $300, $340, $325, $389. That's the one I got to get. $389, unless I find a more expensive one. Ooh, $1,500. Whoa.
There are some really expensive ones.
That's on the and they have them for different hands. That's a left-hand one. Ooh, imagine dual wield tefillin.
Renee Abznoik said take 5 to 15 minutes AP. See, all of them are disagreeing here. The Sir Mam said I wrap it in about 2 minutes. But you're also Stalin, so that's a problem here.
To make a rap song about rapping the Tefillin.
Yeah. The prayer service after can be up to 1 or 2 hours. Huh. Interesting. The joke is 2 Jews, 3 opinions. Oh yeah, I think that's what they say. Yeah. Okay. I think I heard a more elaborate joke about 2 Jews arguing, but can't remember what it
Did
was.
you ever hear Jerry Seinfeld talk about the jokes that only Jews understand?
No.
It's a look. Here's a quick example. Here's the example he gave, and it's true. The non-Jews did not understand the joke, but he goes, 2 Jews are walking down the street. One Jew says, "Hey, how's business?" And the other Jew says, "Oh, it's fine." And the Jews crack up laughing. Right? And everyone's going, "What's the joke?" And
Because the conversation wouldn't end there, right?
yeah, he says the joke is you have to complain about your business. He goes, "Oh my goodness, it's so bad," and saying "fine" would be unheard of.
And the conversation would have to go on forever. Yeah. Okay. Hello, Shaky Booty. Hello to you. Hello to you. David the Goliath said, what do you think about Mongol Empire, Genghis Khan? Did they seriously hurt the West, Islamic world, Muslims like to use their acts of conversion as proof for Islam? The Mongols were some really messed up people who were savages back then under Genghis Khan's leadership, who had the primary goal of ruling the entire world and capturing whatever he can in the most brutal ways. And whenever he encountered a town, he would say, "All right, guys, you will either submit completely, or I will burn down your whole city and rape all your women and kill some of them and hang them up here. And by the way, yeah, just to give you a little taste of what I'm going to do here, this is what I'm going to do." And people would get pretty scared and surrender. But yeah, that actually shook the Muslim world and didn't do as much damage to the Western world. But the Western world was getting very hysterical during the Mongol invasions. Fleurovium Red said, either way, AP, I hope Our Lady brings you to Christianity and Catholicism. The Rosary is great. I appreciate Catholic culture and things. I do. Cameron Schwartz, do you guys have any thoughts on Red Scare podcast? Whomst? Never heard of it. Nope. Mochi said David would send these Protestants to Sam Shamoon. Alhamdulillah, inshallah. I find orthodoxy cool. That's it. I find it based. GoTub Music said, hey, babies, we're starting only vegans just for Tarun. Celeria Wizenquan said, by the way, I made what I believe to be a pretty good script today. If this video ends up being better than my previous best, should I replace the other one I sent, or is end of stream the cut off? I still haven't looked at it. I need to have a look at it. Yeah, still have a look at it. Yes. And finally, 5 silver pesos said the Rosary. Yep. Here. I have a very cheap one. I just wanted to kind of get one because it's fun and nice. I'll probably get a different one that is more fancy and more authentic, but I like it. It's cool. It's cool.
Oh, I just clicked on Celeria's channel. Good length of videos.
Their chants are dope, said AP's people destroyed Orthodoxy, said Cameron Carter. I know they did. But they didn't really destroy it. They just kind of, shattered it a little bit. I wouldn't call them my people, though. The Ottermans. The Ottermans. Have you heard of the Ottermans? David? Have you ever heard of the Ottermans before?
Yeah, the Ottoman Empire.
Yeah. The Ottermans. The Otterman. The Otterman. That's what my ancestors used to look like.
They look like the otters?
Yeah, they were like half otter, half human. Those were the Ottermans. Look, it's right here. Ottomans. So these are my ancestors. They used to look like this. The Ottomans, this is what they used to look like. And they slowly then turned into regular human people like you and me. But so, of course, when these guys came, they kind of slowly made their way into Anatolia, conquered Constantinople, shattered the core of the Byzantine Empire and put an end to it. This is what the Ottomans used to look like.
They just couldn't stand against modern weaponry. That's why they fell apart.
Yeah. And this is also why, I mean, their appearance here, the way they came, the Ottomans, when they came into the Byzantine, into the Eastern Roman Empire, you can of course understand that the regular human people with regular human bodies, when they were confronted by these Ottomans, they were terrified. Which is why the Ottoman conquest was kind of it was quick. It was fast, it was rapid, it was successful, it worked until modern weapons defeated the Ottomans and forced them to change their shape and turn into regular humans. But this is, for example,
shape-shifting Ottomans.
Yeah, my grandparents still used to look like this. Yeah. True story. Yep. Anyway, thanks everybody for watching this show where we deliver nothing but historical truths and realities. We will be back. We'll be back again. We'll be back again tomorrow on David Wood's channel, I believe.
Yes, back.
And there we will talk about more different creatures from history. Until then, have a fantastic day, everybody. Thanks for joining. And as always, what is this, man? I read through all the super chats and people made like 10 more super chats after that. I can't read them anymore. I have to go. You should check out Speech. I'll read them later on. AP's people took Orthodoxy and pushed it somewhere else. AP eating oysters on his belly, floating down. Jews are behind Israel.
That's funny.
This is the kind of stuff that I find funny because just such a simple joke that I wouldn't have never thought about. Celeria was impactful on the West. They called him the scourge of God, as in the whip that would flay Christianity, divine judgment style. That is true. That's the narrative that they had. I'm not sure if it's actually true, but I think there are historical records of them, of how brutal and messed up the Huns were under Attila, that they would do these things like actually have cuts in their faces deliberately just to instill fear on their enemies and things like that. Pretty messed up. Anyway, thanks everyone for watching. We'll be back tomorrow. As always, have a fantastic day. And
hey, we didn't hear that.
Didn't work. Anyway, until tomorrow, have a fantastic day. And as always,
stay away from Islam.
That's what they do.